grill is hot and the Mariners are back in town. They take on the Orleans Firebirds in a battle for sole possession of third place in the East Division here tonight. Good afternoon, folks. Good evening, and welcome inside the broadcast booth here at White House Field. Tim Foley alongside you for this evening's Eastern Division matchup between the Harwich Mariners and the Orleans Firebirds. Harwich was able to snap a 5-game winless skid last night in a 7-3 walloping of the Brewster Whitecaps, a game in which they were able to put across 7 runs over the Whitecaps, a 7-3 victory. They had not won at Stony Brook Field since July 17th, 2019, but Devin, a lot of things went right last night for Harwich and not so right last night for Brewster.
Yeah, it all came down to the late innings. Matt Cassetti, a huge bases-clearing 3-run double, his second extra base hit of the season, and his most RBIs in a ball game with 3 there. We saw Joe Savino come out and pitch like an all-star, although not on the list. He was fantastic, went 5 1/3, allowed just the 3 hits, slammed the door on the offense, no runs allowed. He was great, and hopefully Harwich can get another good pitching outing from Sean Sullivan.
He was excellent last night. Matt Cassetti, you mentioned him. He has the night off, but it is Sean Sullivan, the starting pitcher here tonight for the Mariners. We'll talk more about him in a moment. In the meantime, let's introduce you to the Orleans Firebirds starting lineup. As the leadoff man, Luke Keischel, stands in. Sullivan holds the glove about chest height and delivers the first pitch. That'll catch the outside part. It's 0-1. Batting leadoff, the center fielder, Luke Keischel. Batting second, the third baseman, J.D. Urso. Batting third, the first baseman, Cam Jones. Batting fourth, the right fielder, Isaac Humphrey. Batting fifth, the left fielder, Jack Bolger. Batting sixth, the designated hitter, Garrett Guillemette. Batting seventh, the shortstop, Austin Knight. Batting eighth, the second baseman, Logan Beard. And batting ninth, rounding it out, the catcher, Connor Burns. It's an 0-2 count here to Keischel as he stands in. Keischel wearing number 17 here, despite on the lineup card having been listed at number 9. Nonetheless, here's the 0-2. Right down the middle, strike 3. 88 miles an hour. Sean Sullivan finds the strike zone, and he's off and running here from White House Field.
Nice pitch, 3-pitch sequence from Sullivan to get Keischel that time. And we talked a little bit with the Orleans broadcast team before the game, and they said that they don't break out these white jerseys too often, so the Keischel number thing could just be in this rare instance, because typically don't wear whites on the road.
Harwich as the first pitch in for a called strike to J.D. Urso, wearing their Red Shirt Friday red jerseys with the cream pants, camo hats. And again, as you mentioned, Devin, Orleans in the white jerseys with the sleeveless look going on here. And part of why Orleans rather is wearing these white jerseys as the 0-1 misses for a ball is that Harwich is wearing the Reds tonight. So Orleans isn't going to wear the Reds on the road. And then on a hot day like this, nobody wanted to wear the black jerseys. So all that's left are the whites. As the 1-1 comes in, misses inside. It's a 2-1 count now. Let's take a moment now and introduce you to the Harwich Mariners starting defense. Out in left field, Will Hammeter. Taking up center is Jonathan Santucci. Out in right is Tommy Seidel. As this one's hit on the ground left side. Picked up by Goodwin at third. He'll whip it onto first. Joe Vitrano sticks the glove out, makes the grab, and there's now 2 gone in the inning. Rounding out the rest of the defense. Infield from left to right. Nick Goodwin is at third base tonight. He's filling in for Brock Wilkin, who is just the designated hitter here tonight for Harwich as he's getting ready for his big day tomorrow at Spillane Field for the All-Star Game and its events. Kalai Harrison's at shortstop. David Smith is over at second. Joe Vitrano's on first. Brian Arndt is the catcher here tonight. Umpires for you as well. David Chasson's going to be behind home plate calling the balls and strikes. Jeffrey Kenny's over at first, and James Fonseca, he will be over at third here this evening. The first pitch into the next batter, and Cam Jones misses for a ball. It's a 1-0 count.
Sullivan's last start was against Orleans. Back in the 2-0 loss, he had a strong outing. 6 complete innings once again, but couldn't get the win. His offense didn't help him out.
1-0's lined out to center field. Jonathan Santucci strides over and makes the catch. And just like that, it's a quick 1-2-3 inning. Down go the Firebirds. We'll be back with the Mariner bats in the bottom of the first inning in just a minute. We're scoreless here from White House Field. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back with you here at White House Field, getting set for the bottom of the first inning. Tim Foley and Devin Dobick along with you as Harwich getting set to come up to bat for the first time here tonight. Let's introduce their starting lineup. Batting leadoff, the third baseman, Nick Goodwin. Batting second, the shortstop, Kalai Harrison. Batting third, the first baseman, Joe Vitrano. Batting fourth, the right fielder, Tommy Seidel. Batting fifth, the designated hitter, Brock Wilkin. Batting sixth, the center fielder, Jonathan Santucci. Batting seventh, the left fielder, Will Hamiter. Batting eighth, the catcher, Brian Arndt. And batting ninth, rounding it out, the second baseman out of UConn, David Smith.
Leading off for your Harwich Mariners,
Nick Goodwin steps in as Josh Allen steps in for the Orleans Firebirds. Allen on the season for the Birds. So far, a 2-0 record out of Duke. ERA currently sitting at 3.78 across his 10 appearances. This is his 11th, his first start, mind you. He's pitched 16 2/3. He's struck out 15 to walking just 7. So he's tasked with these Harwich Mariners who had a great day yesterday. Not the greatest day at the plate as the count's 1-0 to Goodwin. Next pitch comes in. That's going to miss outside as well. It's a 2-0 count now. But a good day as in you're able to capitalize on your opponent's mistakes. And boy, were there a number of mistakes yesterday from Brewster. 5 errors on the game.
Yeah, something you're not really used to seeing, but Davis Diaz, who was just announced as an All-Star, made 3 of them. So his error total is up to 8, and a big reason why Harwich was able to pull out ahead. And also just, we were talking about the conditions a lot yesterday. Overcast skies, heavy winds. It was just a weird day for baseball, and a lot of routine plays were much more difficult, and that's why Brewster struggled a little bit more.
2-1 misses high. It's a 3-1 count. No clouds here, not a 1 in sight. Beautiful day from White House Field here in Harwich, Massachusetts. 83 degrees. A little hot, a little sticky, but livable. Here's the 3-1. That misses inside, and Nick Goodwin's the first base runner of the ball game. The leadoff man is on, as Kalai Harrison will come up to bat next.
Goodwin, one of the 5 All-Stars littered throughout this Mariner order. Goodwin, Vitrano, Seidel, Wilkin, and Santucci all will be playing tomorrow in the All-Star game. Mariners with 8 of them. That's tied for the league high.
Impressive, certainly. Harwich, second straight year in which they've been tied for the league high, and All-Stars representing the Mariners. As Allen comes set, checks over on Goodwin down at first base. And so the count is yet to be set here to Kalai Harrison, who on the season so far for Harwich, batting 174, 4 of 23. He's struck out 6 times to just 2 walks. Once again, they'll check on Goodwin. Stole just his 3rd base of the season last night. So not all too much of a threat. As the first pitch to Harrison comes in, that's going to miss high, and that's immediately going to force a conversation between Burns and Allen. Let's take a moment and set the Orleans defense for you. The outfield from left to right reads as such. Jack Bulger is out in left. Luke Keishel's in center. Isaac Humphrey is out in right field. J.D. Urso's at third. Austin Knight's at short. Logan Beard is at second. Cam Jones is the first baseman tonight. And Connor Burns is the second half of the battery between he and Allen. It's a 1-0 count to Harrison as Burns back behind home plate. Here's the pitch. Harrison checks his swing, sends it foul toward the Mariners' dugout. That'll kick back over into foul territory, and so it's a 1-1 count still here.
Harrison batted second last night. It was originally supposed to be Ethan O'Donnell in the 2-hole, but a last-minute scratch from the lineup. So Harrison came in, dropped down a bunt. It was a fielder's choice, but never gave up on the play. Came around to score the first run of the ball game and put the Mariners on the board, despite no for day.
Yeah, and I think Coach Engler giving him another look here in this spot, giving him a more fair chance, I think, considering that he was just thrown into it last second. Now he's got the confidence to be here. I mean, he was in the 2-hole all day yesterday, but has a better idea going into the game as opposed to having the lineup set. Of course, hoping all is well with Ethan O'Donnell. And then plenty of credit as well given to Cole Harding as he was able to come in and fill out the 9-hole, round out the lineup out in center field as the 2-1 comes home. That misses outside, 3-1. So we've seen I believe, 2 strikes from Josh Allen, and now 7 balls. He's a pitch away from missing his the strike zone for the 4th time in this at-bat and walking his 2nd straight batter. Here's the 3-1. That misses down low, ball 4. Cly Harrison's on to first. Nick Goodwin will head down to second base. And this is all for Joe Vitrano up to bat now. This is exactly what you want to see if you're a Harwich. Get the first 2 guys on. Set up guys like Vitrano, Seidel, Wilkin, Santucci. Now here, if you can avoid double plays, you are set up for success if you're able to find some contact.
And for Harwich, got on the board first for just the 10th time last night. And we're here in game 36, so if you can jump out in front of Orleans early, that would be huge. A team that they have really had their fair share of struggles against.
And Orleans, for as much as they've had the Mariners' number, they have not actually won a game since facing off against the Mariners back on the 15th. A 2-0 win for the Firebirds back at Eldridge Park. Otherwise, Orleans on a 3-game losing streak, 5-game winless streak. As Allen comes set. Stares at second and delivers. And misses high and outside. 2 straight balls to open up this at-bat, and Allen is not exactly feeling it. That's going to force a conversation on the mound. Let's take a look around the league, let you know about what other games are going on here tonight. Tonight could be a big night in the division, depending on how things play out. It's 6-0 Katuitt right now in the bottom of the 5th inning against the Chatham Anglers. That's good news for both of these squads here on White House Field here tonight, because Chatham sits just a point back of each Harwich and Orleans. And so, should either team lose tonight, should the game not end in a tie, Chatham would then leapfrog either Harwich or Orleans, whoever the loser may be, in the event that Chatham wins and this game does not end in a tie. But for now, Katuitt firmly in control of that game in the bottom of the 5th, as mentioned. It's 8-0 YD over the Gatemen right now in the top of the 4th inning over at Red Wilson, as the Gatemen getting set to host the All-Star game tomorrow. Top of the 3rd over at McKeon Park, a 0-0 game there. That started at 6 o'clock, and then similar over at Durham Park, top of the 3rd, although it's a 2-0 lead for the Bourne Braves against the Commodores. Here's the 2-0. That's going to miss outside. Couldn't find the outside corner at 86 miles an hour. It's 3-0. Joe Vitrano, a starter tomorrow in the All-Star game. Very excited about that. Joey Ryan and Travis Honeyman also named All-Stars out of Boston College. Fellow Eagles for Vitrano. He's very excited to be able to head over to Spillane and get the start, participate in the festivities as the 3-0 is in for a strike.
Very happy for Joe. Had that big solo home run last night as well to make it 2-0 Mariners. A no-doubter to right field.
That's in for a called strike. Back-to-back strikes. First at-bat here in which we've seen 2 strikes against the batter from Josh Allen. See what he goes to here on the put-away pitch. See if Vitrano is able to perhaps get a piece of one here. Perhaps he's just going to see if Allen can try and find the strike zone. 3-2 count. Allen comes set. Here's the pitch. Foul tip. Sends it back to the backstop. We'll do it again. Vitrano, his numbers on the season, what's gotten him to the All-Star game, batting .248. 28 hits on 113 at-bats. He's scored 15 times. That's 3rd on the team for the Mariners. And the big number for him, 19 RBI. Really impressive figure there. Just 2 behind Nick Goodwin, as the 2 of them are atop the leaderboard, right up there in RBI in the league. 3-2 is going to miss outside. 84 miles an hour. Couldn't catch the outside corner. Josh Allen has walked the bases loaded here in the bottom of the 1st inning. Harwich is threatening with nobody gone for now. Tommy Seidel.
Nice at bat for Vitrano there. 7 pitches, getting Allen's pitch count up early. And a close take there. He's lucky to make his way down to first. Seems like we're seeing a tighter zone thus far from the home plate umpire.
And so it's now Seidel who stands in. His first pitch is going to miss well outside. easy take at 76 miles an hour. It's 1-0. There is now an arm warming in the bullpen for Orleans. They're starting to play some toss, get some guys going. Because if you're Kelly Nicholson and the Orleans Firebirds, you have to wonder how much longer you're willing to let this go. Sometimes the guy just doesn't have it.
Especially in a game this big with the implications, both teams tied with 30 points in the standings.
With less than 10 games to go in the season. And
Just
the last time these two teams are facing off against each other too. And yes, 8 games left after this, as you put it, Devin. Coming down the wire here. Playoffs start early August. 2 days off the next 2 days for all the teams as Seidel flies this one out to shallow right. Underneath it is Humphrey. Makes the catch. Tagging at third is Nick Goodwin. Sliding over to third base is going to be Kalai Harrison, and he's in safely. So Nick Goodwin comes in to score, and Kalai Harrison is able to just slide into third safely. Joe Vitrano stays parked over at first, but it's a sac fly RBI for Tommy Seidel.
Really nice there for Seidel. Picks up another RBI, and Harrison could have been dead. The tag was not on from Urso. Nice slide from Harrison to get around it. Urso not holding the bag, so had to stretch. And the NC State Wolfpack transfer is going to get a nice hook slide in there. So just the 1 out.
And so this now brings up Brock Wilkin with runners on the corners, and Joe Vitrano is going to be caught out on the base paths. He's going to run down now. Caught out at second. Now here he goes back to first. The pitcher doesn't apply the tag, and now the run's going to come home. Vitrano held up at second base. He's finally cut down, but how about it? Kalai Harrison, look alive. He comes home on the antics in the base paths between first and second, and it's now 2-0 Harwich.
How many times have we seen this, we'll call it designed play, where Vitrano gets caught in a rundown with a runner on third, and then this time, the first time it's successfully paid off. Harrison just decides, all right, I'm going home. Cam Jones not expecting Harrison to break for the plate, and he crosses 2-0 Harwich.
We'll see exactly how they decide to score that putout. That's going to be a bit of a chaotic one to sort out, as the first pitch that's into Brock Wilkins in for a strike. It's an 0-1 count. And I mean, Josh Allen, the lefty, it's always the lefties who have that more dangerous pickoff move. So impressive from him that he was able to get Vitrano out on the paths, but even better coordination from the Mariners, able to get a run off of that one. Takes pressure off of Wilkin here with now 2 gone in the inning. It's a 1-1 count to him now. Allen comes set, stares home. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. 79 miles an hour. Wilkin ahead of that one. Now behind in the count, 1-2. Wilkin, earlier before the game, teams weren't allowed to take batting practice, but he was swinging the bat here at White House Field, taking a form of BP, getting ready for the home run derby tomorrow, as that's going to be in for called strike 3. Down goes Wilkin, and that's the first strikeout for Josh Allen. The Mariners managed to walk the bases loaded. Goodwin, Harrison, Vitrano each get on to open up the home half of the first, and Goodwin and Harrison manage to come around. They make it 2-0 Harwich as we head to the top of the second inning. We'll be back in just a minute. Don't go too far. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Back with you here at White House Field. Isaac Humphrey leads it off for the Orleans Firebirds. The 4-5-6 hitters due up for Orleans, as Sean Sullivan's first pitch is going to miss low and outside at 85. Count opens at 1-0. Humphrey, Bulger, and Guillemette in this half inning for Orleans. As Sullivan, it's his second inning of work. He was impressive back in the first as he comes back with a called strike at 85 miles an hour. Struck out Luke Keeschel to open up the ball game. Got J.D. Urso to ground out to Goodwin at third, and then had Cam Jones fly out to center field. So he's looking to build on what was a very successful start his last time out. It was against Orleans, put up those 7 innings. It was beautiful, probably one of the better starts that a starter has had in the league. Only the second pitcher in the Cape Cod Baseball League to go 7 innings in a game, as the 2-1 misses outside. Second only to the Zane Probst the night before, who threw 7 scoreless in the victory over Wareham. As Sullivan holds on, comes set, stares in, here's the pitch. And that's going to miss outside. So as Harwich was able to draw 3 walks in the bottom of the first inning, Isaac Humphrey draws one here to open up the second. There's a man on for Jack Bulger.
Yeah, just to speak to that performance, he had 8 strikeouts, was sensational. Kept his pitch count under 90 as well. Talk about being efficient. Did a great job out there, but the offense didn't show up, and it ended up hurting them.
That is the one loss he has on his record to this point in the season. His line looks like this otherwise, as Sullivan stares at first and comes home. Bunt shown, pulled back, called strike, 78 miles an hour. A 1-1 record, 3.42 ERA. This is his 5th start. He's struck out 23 batters to walking just 7. That's now his 8th walk of the season. And he struck out 1 in the first, so strike to walkout ratio, 3 strikeouts for every walk, as that's a check swing that he went around on. Jack Bulger tried to pull up, but he did not. So it's an 0-2 count, 75 miles an hour. Bulger thought about offering on it, ultimately did, effectively. Humphrey still over on first. Sullivan standing on the mound now. Newest transfer to Wake Forest as the 0-2 comes in. Just misses down low, 1-2.
A lot of guys transferring out, especially on the Mariners. O'Donnell, of course, going from Northwestern to Virginia. I guess everybody jumping ship from the Wildcats. That's 2 of them just on this ball club. And, of course, Harrison among a number of others.
Hit and run on for Orleans, as down to second was Humphrey, but it was tipped back by Bulger, and so Humphrey will trot back to first. More of a saunter, really, as it's a 1-2 count still. Sullivan comes set and delivers. Hit on the ground left side. High chopper right over to Harrison. Throws on to first, and it's in time. Not enough time to try to turn a double play, but a nice throw from Harrison's right where it needs to be. Is able to retire Bulger for the first out of the inning. Humphrey now down to second base.
Really nice play. I mean, those hops are so unpredictable, but it takes a high one on him. He gets it right in his chest area. A very quick, accurate throw from that same place with his feet set. Just beats him by half a step. That is a big first out.
This one's going to be hit on the ground left side foul from Garrett Guillemette. Designated hitter, standing in now for the Firebirds. So far, Guillemette on the season, batting .217 out of Texas. He's got 11 RBI on the season. That is good for second among active Firebirds. Trailing only Luke Keeschel. Travis Honeyman, his season just about done for Orleans as the 0-1 misses. It's a 1-1 count, one of the bigger bats. Again, mentioned it earlier, an all-star as well. He was really impressive during his time with Orleans, but he took a pitch up in the hands, got hurt, and so his time with the Firebirds is all done.
Nate Furman also done. So 2 of your all-stars, 2 of your 4, not with the team anymore, and couldn't be a worse time. Big reason why they're in that skid right now.
And of course, at the end of the day, it's all about making sure that the players are right and healthy for the long term. Summer League glory is nice while you have it, but for these players, there's often so much more on the line for their careers. As the 2-1's popped up in the infield, underneath it is Smith. He'll make the catch, and there's now 2 gone.
Now batting the shortstop,
Austin Knight
from UNC
up to bat
Charlotte,
now
3,
for
Austin
Orleans.
Knight.
Knight on the season, batting just 130. This bottom third of the lineup, Knight, Beard, and Burns, have been struggling for Orleans. So we'll see how Sullivan's able to handle them here, trying to deal with Knight, set himself up with Beard and Burns in the 3rd inning perhaps. Man on second is Isaac Humphrey. Wind blowing out to left. First pitch from Sullivan's in for a called strike. It's 0-1, 78 miles an hour.
Firebirds hitting .207 with runners in scoring position and 2 gone. Do have 6 homers and 38 runs batted in, but really would like to get one back here. They're in a 2-0 hole, and the Mariners don't even have a hit.
0-1 pitch, fouled off. It's 0-2 now. Knight, to give you a more specific look at his numbers as of late, just 2 of 28 across his last 7 games. That's good for batting .071. Been a tough go of it for him. Just 2 runs scored in that span. As it's an 0-2 count against him here. Sullivan looking for his 2nd strikeout, trying to get out of the inning. Man on second in Humphrey. The pitch misses outside. 1-2. Beard on deck. Another guy who's been struggling for Orleans, as mentioned, also batting sub 100 across his past 7. That's going to be popped up out of play. It's a 1-2 count still.
It's really just the middle of the order that's been producing. I mean, I believe there was 5 strikeouts between the bottom third last night. Just really struggling with the loss of those 2 big bats, and Honeyman and Furman both hovering around 300 with average, hitting for power as well. Furman had a pair of doubles against Harwich this season. Honeyman's homered. So you take those 2 guys away, and what do you have left?
1-2, foul tip, back into the mid of arm. Knight tried to check his swing. He checked it right into the mitt of Brian Art, and so the inning ends. John Sullivan faces just 4 in the frame. He records his 2nd strikeout of the evening, and the Mariners still lead it 2-0. We head to the bottom of the 2nd inning. We'll be back in just a minute. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. It's the bottom of the second inning. It's the 6, 7, 8 hitters for the Harwich Mariners as Jonathan Santucci leads it off. We'll see Will Hamiter and Brian Arndt in this inning as well. A 2-0 lead for Harwich as Josh Allen, who's back out there for his second inning of work, walked the bases loaded to open up the home half of the first inning. Goodwin and Harrison each scored. Vetrano was caught out on the base paths in a 1-3-6-1-4 putout, as you would have it, as Santucci, little blooper over to second. That'll be caught by Beard, and there's one gone in the inning.
Yeah, just got jammed there. Punch one right over to second, and if it doesn't catch the sweet spot, if it's too far in, that's when it gets difficult for hitters to kind of muscle one. And nice play that time from Beard to react, get there, and a quick first out. Much better start to the second inning for Josh Allen.
He's now retired 3 straight. As the man up now is Will Hamiter, left fielder for Harwich. Had himself a nice day yesterday as the first pitch to him misses up high. Came around to score twice, got on with the fielder's choice as well. Walked in the game, just getting involved in the action. Really good to see that from Hamiter, who built on an excellent performance the night before against Falmouth, in which he had 2 hits for the first time all season. Had a run in that game, too. 1-0 is going to be hit past the glove of Allen, out into center field. That's going to get through for a base hit. Will Hamiter continues to get on bases. That's now 3 straight games for the Hammer in which he's been able to get on.
And talk about the right time for Will Hamiter. I mean, Harwich losing Press Kavanaugh and Chris Newell, and Hamiter at the time with just 2 hits when they departed. Since then, he's really starting to put something together, finds himself on base with another hit here tonight. You need outfielders who can provide offense, and you lose those 2 big guys who just got drafted. Really nice to see that from Hammy.
As Hamiter slides back in safely, Brian Arndt patiently awaits the first pitch to him. Allen steers in. Here's the pitch. That's going to miss high, and the count here opens at 1-0 to Brian Arndt. Arndt across his last couple of games here, his last 4 games specifically. So he's been in and out of the lineup for Matt Cassetti, who's been taking up a bit more of the brunt of the catching duties as of late. Just 2 for 12, batting just 167 over his last 4 games. As it's a 1-0 count to him. Here's the pitch. That's going to be popped up, playable, runs into the catcher and burns. Eventually, Cam Jones calls everyone off. He makes the catch, and there's 2 gone in the frame.
Tough at bat for Arndt. He's just a little bit under it.
Now batting for your Harwich
Really struggled
Mariners,
as of late.
Second baseman from
But
UConn,
you know what?
Number 4, David.
Game of rhythms, game of runs, game of streaks. So we'll turn it around at some point.
As David Smith now comes up to bat, someone who has done a nice job of turning it around. First pitch into him is going to be in for a called strike. Count opens at 0-1. Smith, currently the possessor of the longest on-base streak for the Mariners right now, which is active. 5 straight games in which he's had at-bats. He's managed to get on safely, as it's an 0-1 count here. Goodwin, or pardon, not Goodwin, rather. Hamiter's over on first. A nice diving stop by Beard. He'll hold on, however, has to eat it, as there was not nearly enough time to be able to make that throw. A hard hit ball to the hole. Impressive from Beard, but not enough to record the out. The inning continues. 2 hits in the frame now for Harwich.
David Smith, another guy who really has come out of the woodwork with his offense and starting to produce in the bottom of the order, getting on for the top, doing his job. Hasn't been starting as consistently since the arrival of Harrison, but when he's been getting opportunities, he's been cashing in, and that's great. Next man up mentality for the Mariners.
First pitch into Nick Goodwin is swung on and missed, and at 79 miles an hour, it's an 0-1 count. And yeah, ever since Harrison came in, Harrison's been over at short. Coach Englert has opted to bump Goodwin over to second base as of late, and then Brock Wilkin, of course, has been anchoring over at third. But I think, of course, with Wilkin in the All-Star game tomorrow, giving him the day off, allowing him to just DH, as count here is 1-1 to Goodwin. Gives a chance for all three of these guys to be in the infield here today. Goodwin, Harrison, and Smith. 1-1 count. Here's the pitch. That's going to get away from the catcher Burns. Down to third is Will Hameter. Mariners have a man at third now. Runners on the corners at that, as David Smith is still standing over on first base. It's a 2-1 count to Goodwin.
And again, quick little play here from the catcher and Burns. First and third scenario. David Smith hasn't been running frequently, but he has speed, so I would assume Orleans in the position they're in, they're going to take a shot at him if he tries to steal second, but we'll have to wait and see.
Ball's going to be chopped foul. 2-1 count now. 2-2 rather, excuse me. As that headed back to the backstop. Goodwin on the season for Harwich. So far, batting .262. He's been excellent. The only Mariner to play in every single game so far this season. Allen comes set, 2-2. Runner does go, gets away from Burns. Coming home to score is going to be Hameter. Now down over to third is Smith. The Mariners take full advantage of a ball that gets away from Burns. They now lead it 3-0 with, again, a man on third for Goodwin.
And this is all about Will Hameter. He sees that dirt ball read a couple pitches before, gets away, so he gets himself on third. That allows Smith to find his way over to third, and Hameter coming in to score. You're not getting that run if Hameter doesn't get that read on the dirt ball.
Not to mention Smith already had the jump going for him. No way he makes it all the way to third generally if he isn't already intending on stealing second. So a lot that played out well there for Harwich. Nonetheless, it's a foul tip back into the mid of Connor Burns from Nick Goodwin. He goes down swinging, but the Mariners manage to tack on another one. They now lead it 3-0 as we head to the top of the third inning. We'll be back with more Harwich Mariners baseball on the other side. Don't go too far. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network.
Leading off the third for the Firebirds, the second baseman.
It's the top of the third inning. It's Logan Beard up to bat for Orleans, the second baseman tonight, as we'll see the 8, 9, and 1 hitters due up in this frame for the Firebirds. Connor Burns and Luke Keeschel as well. Sean Sullivan back out there. It's his third inning of work. He's allowed just one man to get on. That was a walk issued to Isaac Humphrey to open up the second inning. Otherwise, he's struck out 2 batters and he's looked great. You know, Harwich pitching, we've seen some excellent performances recently where guys have just been able to work efficiently. As the 1-0 is in for a called strike, it's 1-1.
And these are the outs that Sullivan's going to have to get. Bottom of the order guys who are struggling. Don't want them to get up. Luke Keeschel is at the top of the order. He's the only active all-star for the Firebirds in the lineup.
There's a nice pitch, low in the zone, and 78. Called strike, 1-2.
Beard just 6 for 48 on the season. That's good for a 125 average. Just has 1 RBI as well.
Sullivan comes set. Here's the pitch. This is outside 2-2.
That off-speed pitch kind of floats in, 77 miles an hour. Little late movement from it, but trying to locate it.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Sean Sullivan, back-to-back strikeouts, his third of the day. One gone in the top of the third inning.
Really nice sequence that time. Off speed and then just blow right by him with the fastball. Anytime you can catch a hitter off balance, that's a great thing, and that's exactly what he does to Beard right there.
It's now Connor Burns, the catcher, up to bat. So already 2 strikeouts from this bottom third of the lineup. And we'll see if Burns is able to buck the trend as he stands in now. First pitch he takes, 88 miles an hour, misses up high. It's a 1-0 count. Harwich talked about it a bit already. Last night's game, an impressive win. Come from behind win on the road against Brewster in a place you haven't won in over 3 years. Just the second win all season for Harwich when trailing after 6 innings. Generally speaking, they have not been able to pull that off. Of course, other one was the walk-off win against Hyannis back here at White House Field back on June 26th. What ended up being a 3-1 win as Nick Goodwin had a 2-run shot. 1-1 pitch is cut on and missed. It's a 1-2 count, 88 miles an hour. It's always impressive whenever you're able to see a comeback win like that, and you have to hope if you're Harwich that's going to be able to jumpstart your squad the way that you were able to just pour it on late in the game. It's a 1-2 count. Sullivan the pitch. This is high, 2-2.
It is extremely important to be resilient, especially against teams in your division, games you need to win. They got a nice lead right now on Orleans, 3-0, so now it's going to be about holding the door shut.
2-2. Misses inside, ball 4. So we'll see what Sullivan has to offer here. He's walked 1. Again, that was Humphrey. And he's already struck out 3. See what Burns has on offer as Sullivan delivers. In for called strike 3. Down goes Burns. 3 straight strikeouts. He's able to strike out the bottom third of the order as there's 2 gone in the inning now. The top of the order once again. Luke Kieshel, the only other Firebird to strike out, steps in.
That's crucial. Pick up those 2 outs. Kieshel is one of the premier hitters in this game, hitting .277 this season. He's walked 10 times as well. 15 RBIs and was just announced as the number 53 prospect in the MLB draft for 2023.
So certainly impressive what he's been able to do. As a quick note on Burns just then, striking out. 22nd of the season, he is in 4th on the team behind the only other Firebirds who have struck out here tonight. Knight, Beard, and Kieshel. As it's now a 1-1 count, the next pitch in for a strike. Yes, Kieshel, anytime you can get ranked high like that in your draft class, always really impressive, especially considering the MLB draft, how there are so many rounds. You see a lot of guys get drafted, but I think that makes it just all the more special to see a name go toward the top. As it's a 2-1 count now, the 1-1 misses at 76. Sullivan comes set, holds the glove, head height. Here's the pitch. That runs inside at 88. Didn't quite have the command on that one he would have liked. So it's a 3-1 count now to Luke Kieshel. Struck out looking to open up the ball game. The pitch. Called strike. Kieshel will have to step back in. Not too happy with that call there. See how that affects the at-bat now. Always wonder how that affects a batter. Once they think they have a walk, they have to step back in, get set to take another look at another pitch. Thought it had missed outside. He's faced with a 3-2. Here's the pitch. Foul tip back beneath the glove of Arndt. So we'll do it again. This at-bat extends even longer now.
At least doing his part and working the pitcher. Good for a quality at-bat. 6 or more pitches. This will be the 7th of the AB coming up.
3-2. Popped up. Right field. Seidel underneath it. Makes the grab. It's another 1-2-3 inning for Sean Sullivan. He strikes out 2. And he gets the third to fly out. We head to the bottom of the third. Mariners lead it 3-0. They've scored in each the first and second. They'll look to keep it rolling in the third. We'll be back in just a minute. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
Number 35, Kalai Harrison.
It's Kalai Harrison to lead it off in the bottom of the third inning for the Harwich Mariners. Looking to pick up back-to-back wins after taking down the Whitecaps last night. Harrison swings through the first pitch at 93 miles an hour. He falls behind in the count 0-1. There's a new wing on the mound for the Firebirds. It's Chris Clark. The day is done for Josh Allen. As the next pitch comes in, that's going to miss for a ball, 94 miles an hour. It's a 1-1 count. Allen, on the day, struggled, gave up 3 runs across his first 2 innings. The 1-1 comes in. That's going to be hit over the head of the shortstop, Knight. Nothing he can do about it. Harrison's on for the second time today.
Looked like he wasn't sure if he wanted to swing there. It was a bit of a check swing, but caught it in the right part of the bat and just pokes it right out into left center field. It's all smiles over at first base. I guess you don't always have to commit to the pitch.
As the day for Allen looked like this, just to give you his final line. 2 complete innings pitched, gave up 2 hits, 3 runs, all 3 of which were earned. Walked 3 and struck out 1. As that swung on and missed, it's going to be an 0-1 count. 93 miles an hour, that one came in at. 0-1 count here. Vetrano stands in, takes that one about the feet. And so the count now evens out at 1-1. Correction, one of those runs unearned because of that wild pitch. So 2 earned runs on the day from Allen. Although you'd think because he was the one who threw the pitch, it may be earned, as the throwback over to first is just to check on Harrison. Nonetheless, it's not how it's scored. So it's a 1-1 count here to Joe Vetrano. Again, it is Chris Clark who's on the mound right now for Orleans. His stats on the season look like this. .251 ERA. This is his 12th appearance as Vetrano chops this one off foul. 1-2. 14 1/3 innings pitched. He's struck out 15 to just 6 walks.
See what he can do here. He's going to have to continue to throw zeros on the Harwich side of the scoreboard, or rather begin to throw zeros, because his offense has no hits. They've been unable to get going, and Harwich out to a 3-0 lead early.
1-2. Tip back to the backstop. And we'll do it again at 1-2. Vetrano in his last at bat walked and was cut down in between first and second. You almost want to credit him with an RBI the way he was able to help bring in Kalai Harrison, but that's not the way it goes. Drew plenty of attention on the 1-3-6-1-4 putout, as often as you see those. The 1-2. This is high, 2-2.
94 on that pitch. The guy can bring some velocity here in Chris Clark. Good pitch to miss on. Try and draw the hitter's eyes up top. Make him climb the ladder. Hard fastball. But Vetrano staying disciplined, not biting there.
Time called here. Vetrano briefly steps out. Steps back in. It's a 2-2 count. Clark stares in. Here's the pitch. That misses high. It's a 3-2 count now. It's not been perfect so far from Chris Clark, who let up a leadoff single to Kalai Harrison, and he's in a battle here now with Joe Vetrano as Clark tries to find his footing on the mound. Here's the pitch. That's popped up out of play. We'll do it again at 3-2. Clark in his last outing recorded his first start of the season. That was against Katuitt. The Kettleers. As Vetrano once again stands in, faces a 3-2 count. Here's the pitch. Chop foul, and we'll do it again at 3-2. Very nice battle here from Joe Vetrano as he stands in. We've seen a great deal of pitches thrown his way. This next one to be the 9th. Or pardon, as well, in regards to Clark. His last outing actually a 1-inning showing against Wareham back on the 17th. As 3-2 comes in. Foul tip back into the mid of Burns. He holds on, and there's the first strikeout of the day for Chris Clark.
And we've been seeing something new from Joe Vetrano as of late. He's being very emotional each and every at-bat, getting very frustrated with himself. When he's punched out or gets under a pitch, you'll hear him talking to himself and visibly upset. Something where earlier on in the season he might have just headed back to the dugout. I'll get him next time. Now it seems like every at-bat matters that much more to him.
Well, I have to imagine the thought process there is that he has, and this really goes for Cape League players as a whole, is that there's an expectation that the bats take a while to come along when the season starts. I mean, it's really a known fact more than anything, as Tommy Seidel stands in, who's 0 for 1 with an RBI on a sac fly on the night. But the bats are going to take some time to come along, and I mean, Vetrano's a guy who has since been able to get into a rhythm, and so now he understands what it is exactly he needs to do in the box now here on the Cape. As Harrison goes down to second, throw is high. The tag, however, is unable to get him. Clyde Harrison even overshot the bag, but he managed to swim back to second base as Logan Beard just missed the tag on the way in. It was a nice throw from Burns, but he couldn't get him.
Dropped the ball. Did get him. Just dropped the ball. It was in the dirt. And Kelly Nicholson not pleased. Yeah, it fell out right around the bag. The umpire initially ruled him out, but then when he saw the ball on the ground, changed the call. Nicholson really displeased. He's nose to nose with the umpire.
Yeah, he's pointing at third base, indicating a situation that had happened earlier in the ballgame, I imagine, with Harrison, as, boy, he really is heated over there talking to the umpire. Nicholson will see just what comes of this, and there he goes. Kelly Nicholson's been thrown out of the ball game, arguing a call on a stolen base. Clyde Harrison came sliding in. Ball was dropped. Kelly Nicholson did not like the call, came out to protest, and he has spoken, well, he hasn't quite spoken his final words yet, but he is done here today.
Getting his money's worth, per se.
No kidding.
I'm not sure why he's so upset. The ball clearly was on the ground. I mean, I can understand why he's upset about the 50-50 call at third, in which I believe it was Harrison that got around a tag on a tag up. But, yeah, this one just not really much to argue unless you're saying that he dropped it after the fact. But you can't be that passionate about it if you saw what happened.
Takes a lot to get a manager here in the Cape Cod Baseball League thrown out of the ball game. This is the first we've seen this season. I'm trying to remember if we even saw one last season. We may have. Coach Englert may have had to have left early, perhaps once last season. Even then, not to disparage his record, not sure if he even was thrown out ever, but Kelly Nicholson is going to have to exit the dugout. He's currently still in there. How about it here if you're Orleans? Tough spot to find yourself in. One gone in the inning, a man on second for Harwich. 3-0 lead for the Mariners. On 3 hits at that, Orleans, they have been stymied on offense. Have not been able to get into a rhythm defensively. And Nicholson has vacated the premises. A few more words on the way out, but he'll close the door as he departs, and the game gets set to resume. 3-0 lead for the Mariners with Clyde Harrison now on second.
Yeah, that was intense. That was definitely the worst discussion. We saw the Bourne head coach, whose name escapes me at this moment in time. We saw him get pretty close to being tossed out at Doran Park against Harwich, but Nicholson absolutely taking the most aggressive approach we've seen all season, and he'll have a long ride home back to Orleans.
0-1's going to be pushed out toward right field by Seidel. That's going to be caught. Harrison tags at second. The throw down to the bag is cut off and will not be returned to third. So Tommy Seidel once again hits a fly ball out to right and is able to help move runners around the base paths. Clyde Harrison now stands on third for Brock Wilkin with 2 gone in the inning.
Brock struck out looking on a tough pitch back in the first inning, but chance for redemption, chance for an RBI, a guy who just has 1 hit in the last week of play, and it was a bloop single. If the weather had been nice like it is today, probably would have been caught.
So many of those situations last night, as this one's going to be hit on the ground over to Austin Knight. He will scoop it up, throw onto first with haste, and the throw is in time. Clyde Harrison does not come across the score. It remains 3-0 in favor of the Mariners. But the Firebirds are without their manager now. Kelly Nicholson tossed out of the ball game. We'll be back in the top of the 4th inning with more Harwich Mariners baseball. In the meantime, don't go too far. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
Firebirds.
Back with you here, a 3-0 lead for the Harwich Mariners in the top of the 4th inning. Sean Sullivan's back out for his 4th inning of work, and for play-by-play duties across the next 3 innings, my broadcast partner, Devin Dove. Devin.
Thank you, Tim. So we've now entered the middle third. It's a 1-0 count to J.D. Urso, who on the day grounded out to third. Nick Goodwin had a really nice put out on that. Ranged to his left, did a pirouette, and then fired it over to first just in time. When you think about how difficult it must be for him, the first look he's gotten at third base this season, as 1-1 misses out and away, it's 2-1.
Yeah, it's tricky whenever you make these changes in the infield like this. Sometimes you never realize it's what you needed as an infielder, and I think it helps to give a greater appreciation for the rest of the positions. And so I'm sure he's greeting this opportunity with open arms.
2 balls, 2 strikes as that's fouled off. 2-3-4 due up for the Firebirds. They're desperately in need of some sort of offense. Still without a hit here. Sean Sullivan's been very effective. Thrown 50 pitches. As this is fouled back again, so we'll stay at 2-2. Cam Jones on deck. A guy who really caught fire against the Mariners back on July 13th. Had a 3-hit game then. 2-2. Swung on and missed. Sean Sullivan picks up his 5th strikeout. He's punched out 4 of the last 5 batters. Really dialed in right now.
Just cruising. Shades of what we saw his last outing against, again, these same Firebirds. And so you'd think perhaps that favor Orleans with so many of them having seen Sullivan already, but Sean Sullivan doesn't care. And he is locked in.
Jones will get his 2nd crack at Sullivan. He flied out to center off him. Sullivan strictly pitches out of the stretch as this is lined into right field for a base hit. The first of the ball game for the Firebirds. Nice swing into out, that time from Jones. And now they got a base runner with 1 away.
Yeah, just pushed it through that right side. Thought perhaps for a second Smith might have a chance on it, but it just kept tailing out toward right field, peeling away from him as that thing had plenty of spin off the bat. So Smith, not much he can do. And Orleans trying to put something together here.
As this one is dropped in there to Isaac Humphrey, who possesses a 21-game on-base streak. He's participated in 25 games this season. And ever since his 5th game, he has reached base in every ball game. Right through that breaking ball that catches the outside corner, it's 0-2.
Yeah, the longest such streak in the Cape Cod Baseball League right now, so it's been especially impressive to watch. You know, you have to either get on with a walk, hit by pitch, or a single, and so no fielder's choice, no errors, doesn't count. So it's been really impressive to watch from Humphrey.
Actually already extended that with his walk in the 2nd inning. 1-2 offering coming from Sullivan. And that one just tails off the outside corner, so it'll be 2-2. Jake Bolger on deck. 1 down for the Firebirds. 2-2 is slapped over to third. Line drive caught by Goodwin. He goes back to first, picked by Vetrano. It's a line drive double play. Nick Goodwin, acting like a true veteran over at third base, catches the ankle biter line drive and then throws on 1 hop to Vetrano. Nice pick to complete it, and the side is retired. So it's a makeshift 1-2-3 for Sean Sullivan. 3rd time he's faced the minimum in an inning. We'll take a quick break. 3-0 Mariners. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
Off the bottom of the fourth for your Harwich Mariners, the center fielder.
6,
from Duke,
7,
number
8
12,
due up for the
Jonathan
Mariners. Jonathan Santucci, Will Hammer, and Brian Arndt. It's a 3-0 ball game here on a beautiful night at White House Field. Definitely a warm one, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. These hot summer nights in July, hovering around the 80-degree mark. First pitch is in there to Santucci on the outside corner. Mariner dugout doesn't agree. Coach Englert a few words for the home plate umpire. Maybe he feels a little left out. He'd like to maybe go join Kelly Nicholson. It's 0-2 count as Santucci takes a swing and miss at that pitch right down the middle. Santucci on the day has flied out to second on a weak fly ball. 95 on that one from Chris Clark. Really pumping the gun here. Another 1-2. Misses inside, and it's 2-2, all even. Santucci coming off a game in which he scored the game-tying run thanks to an error from Diaz in which he was able to reach safely at second, then come around on a bunt attempt to third, and then scored eventually on that wacky pop fly that was, I guess, dropped by, yeah, it was dropped by Kevin Keister at second. Just a weird game yesterday, start to finish. 3-2 offering coming. And it is fouled off.
I mean, the defense for Brewster obviously not ideal yesterday, but Harwich, we've been seeing some nice defensive games from them recently. Of course, had the 3 errors against Falmouth, but even still, it's been impressive. I mean, we've seen guys get doubled up back over at bases, just like we did back in that 4th inning. Really nice play by Goodwin. Again, a guy who's not yet played third this season.
It'll be a walk issued to Jonathan Santucci. Took 7 pitches, but he works his way on. And the defense has just been hot and cold. You think back to that Falmouth game, the 6-5 loss. They committed what was eventually ruled to be 3 errors. But one of those games they didn't have it. Last night they did have it. Their defense ranks 7th in the league. They have 34 errors. It's a 97.1 fielding percentage. Orleans just ahead of them at a 97.3 fielding percentage. That's good for 6th. 33 errors for the Firebirds. It's 0-1 to Will Hammer to start off here. He singled and came around to score back in the 2nd. Shade has officially covered the entire field here at White House. You can still see the sun kind of gracing the scoreboard out there and on the tree line. As this is ripped to the right side and stopped. A nice play by Beard. Throws on to first and gets Hammer in time. It looked like he was going to get through for a second, but Hammer at least does his job, gets the runner and Santucci down to second, and there's one away.
Yeah, impressive grab by Beard. Made a nice stop earlier in the hole. Didn't have enough time to throw on to first, but this time around gets there standing, is able to keep some forward momentum going, makes a throw on to first. So he's had a nice game over there so far, Beard, as he's able to help record the first out of the inning. But you said it, Santucci's up to second now, and Harwich has been effective tonight when they get runners on.
They have stranded 2 at third base thus far, but 3-0 lead still intact as Arndt fouls off the first pitch for strike 1. Another man in scoring position in Santucci. Bottom 2 in the order due up. Let's see if they're able to cash in. Arndt waggles the bat back over his shoulder. And here comes the pitch. Thought about it? Yes, he did, says David Chasson. It's 0-2 now to Arndt. Just 3 hits coming into today, looking to build on that. He's got a chance for his 3rd RBI here, if he can find a home for this. Thought about it again, lays off this one, so it'll be 1-2.
Nice take from Arndt. Tough sometimes to lay off it when you're behind in the count, but does a nice job to be able to work himself slightly back into this count.
native of Fuquay, Varina, North Carolina. Goes to school there as well. And he's all even in the count, 2-2. Clark bounces that breaking ball in the dirt. David Smith on deck. He's 1 for 1. Long look in from Clark. Now he comes to his set. Santucci not being held on. And the pitch. That runs inside, and the count is now full. 93 on that fastball, though, from Clark. Still a pretty good crowd that rolled in here to White House Field despite the heat. It has been a hot week, to say the least. Yesterday was funky weather, so it was in the low to mid 70s, but humid. Payoff pitch coming, and Arndt lays off. That will be another walk issued. The second from Chris Clark. We saw 3 from Josh Allen. And now some trouble brewing for the Firebirds. It's runners on first and second with 1 away.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much you can do as a team when the defense isn't able to get involved. So Harwich has done a nice job being disciplined at the plate. And you mentioned it, 3 from Allen, now 2 from Clark, 5 on the game. Important aspect of your game to be able to develop as a hitter. How well are you able to take pitches? How good is your eye in the batter's box?
Smith fouls off the first pitch. He's already got a hit from the right side against the lefty Josh Allen. Chris Clark, the right-handed pitcher, going to see the lefty version of David Smith. Top of the order, Nick Goodwin resides on deck. Home half of the 4th. Over at first is Arndt. Santucci's on second. And a 1 offering set to come. Just misses inside, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, we just saw somebody run down to the Orleans bullpen as they're going to continue to have some action down there in what's been a rough game for their pitchers so far here tonight. Clark trying to avoid giving up a run.
This will miss down low, 2-1. He's up above 30 pitches. He's around 34 thus far. This will be the 34th, rather. Smith taking his time. He's ahead in the count. And the 2-1 delivery coming. It's fouled off again to the left. So hanging in there. It's 2-2. 92 miles an hour on that fastball from Chris Clark.
Meanwhile, on the other side of things, nobody up and moving in the Harwich bullpen. Sullivan's been fantastic.
Yeah.
2, 1, 2, 3 innings, or pardon, 3.
No reason for him anyone to be up and throwing away. Sullivan's gone thus far. Smith chops this one. And Tim, you've mentioned it in prior broadcasts, but you don't want to put someone up for no reason, especially Coach Engler likes to exhibit that confidence in the guy he has on the mound and not give him any thought of coming out of the ball game until it becomes absolutely necessary.
And of course, that's something that sometimes can come back to bite you, of course, if a guy all of a sudden just doesn't have it. It's not a slow descent, and he needs to come out of the game. There's nobody up and ready.
2-2 is grounded down the first base line. Diving stop by Cam Jones. He flips it, fumbles it, and everybody's going to be safe. So Cam Jones made a wonderful stop. It will be a hit ruled to David Smith, his second of the ball game in that 9 spot, and both of his hits have been in the infield. And nice stops by the right side, but Orleans failing to capitalize. Granted, a very difficult opportunity, but Mariners will take it. They're all loaded up with nowhere to put them for the leadoff hitter, Nick Goodwin.
Yeah, not surprised to see that that's ruled a hit. It was a nice stop by Jones, certainly, but he took a lot of time to get up, as Burns is going to go out to talk with Clark now. And there wouldn't have been any time for Clark to even possibly apply the tag on the first if the ball was flipped in time. So that flip that ended up dribbling past first, ultimately inconsequential because it's not as though it allowed Santucci to come home from third, Art to move down to third at that. So Orleans just frustrated defensively right now in some regards. Again, you said it, they've made some nice stops, but they lack that finish right now that would help them to get further and closer to getting out of innings.
So Goodwin, Cape Cod Baseball League RBI leader, a chance to add to his total of 21 already thus far this season. It's 0-1 to him. He fouls off the first pitch. On the day, Goodwin is 0 for 1. Walked, came around to score in the first inning. He also struck out swinging. Clark likes the signal from Burns. He'll come set, kick and fire, and that one has to be stopped by Burns. A little bit in the dirt, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, high pressure situation here if you're Clark. It's just a 3-run game right now. Manageable if you're Orleans, but any more than that, and it starts to get a bit hairy. Bases loaded with only 1 away. Harwich has to be hoping for, I think, at least 2 here.
Goodwin set for the next pitch, and that's a breaking ball at 80 miles an hour that catches the outside corner. So now going to have to protect. It's 1-2. Kalai Harrison is on deck. He's reached base twice tonight, 1 for 1, also with a walk. Clark comes set, and that one misses way outside, 94-mile-an-hour fastball. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes now. Santucci at third, Arndt at second, and David Smith on first. Mariners looking to extend the margin. Goodwin, one of the guys in the lineup you want up. This is bounced in the dirt. Works the count full. So now the biggest pitch of the ball game thus far for the Orleans Firebirds is going to be coming up. Four hits for Harwich, 1 for Orleans. Still not an error in the ball game. And the 3-2. On the inside corner, strike 3. Goodwin thought he had ball 4, started the march over, but he has rung up a huge strikeout for Chris Clark. And there's now 2 away in the inning. That makes it much more manageable to get out of with no harm done.
Yeah, now you have a force out anywhere in the infield. You have to force Harwich to get on base safely. But, I mean, this is one of the guys who you want up right now if you're Harwich. Coming into tonight, it's been a bit of a struggle, but he has found a rhythm here tonight. He's gotten on with the walk, came around to score, and then he singled in the third. It's been some good stuff from Kalai so far here this evening.
Does not have an RBI just yet. Hitting a little bit under 200. He lifts this one out to left field. Sinking fast coming in is Bulger, and he overran it, I believe. So 2 runs are in. I think that's going to be an error charge to Bulger. I believe it hit the ground. I had a blind spot here in the booth. Tim, did you catch anything?
Yeah, I'm surprised that wasn't a catch. Well, first off, I'm surprised it wasn't a catch because of how much time he had to line it up. But I'm also surprised just because of how he was able to so quickly whip it in. I mean, that ball must have just hopped up off of the grass so quickly that he was able to field it in motion as though he had caught it. But it was a quick play out there and left, just missed his glove. He overshot it initially, ended up dropping right behind him, but again, it just hopped up off the grass out and left, and Harwich has been benefiting from a couple of struggles recently in the defensively for Orleans and Brewster yesterday.
And yeah, that's something we saw Brock Wilkin do with runners on second and third, 2 away. He popped one way up into shallow right field, and somehow Brewster was unable to come away with the catch. 2 runs came in. They took the lead and never turned back this time. Again, should have been out number 3. Harrison flips one out to left. Just overrun by Bolger or whatever it was. 2 runs come in. The margin's pushed to 5. And they'll credit Harrison with a hit. Picks up a multi-hit game, his 2nd of the season. But yeah, just some wacky baseball. A lot of breaks have been going Harwich's way. Joe Vitrano will climb in, a chance for more damage. First pitch to him, misses down low. It's 1-0.
Yeah, you say the word damage, you think Joe Vitrano. Big man, lefty. Just has a lot going for him in the box.
He's 0 for 1 on the day, also has walked. Punched out in the 3rd inning. He's ahead in this count 2-0. Not a guy you want to fall behind to. If you have to come to Joe Vitrano with a strike, I'm sure there's a lot of things that you would rather do. Tommy Seidel on deck. And the pitch. This one is in there just below the letters to make it 2-1. Harrison on first. Smith at third. And the 2-1 offering. Swung on and missed. Breaking ball that came down in the dirt. Fooled Vitrano. A very off-balance swing there. And that makes the count 2-2 now. See if they send Harrison in motion. Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. One way or another. Of course, you want that runner on third base to come in, but if Vitrano had to come up next inning to start it, wouldn't be terrible. Or you get an extra runner in scoring position for him to drive on around. Two balls, 2 strikes, and the pitch from Clark. There goes Harrison. Looked like bit of a delayed steal. He kind of stopped in the base path. It looked like before the ball was fouled off, so maybe trying to prank them once again. Harwich, that must be by design, hanging themselves out to dry and trying to get a run home. But whatever gets the runs in, they have a 5-0 lead over the Firebirds right now. 2-2. There goes Harrison. And that will be strike 3. Vitrano swings and misses through that one. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Clark, his 3rd of the ball game. So Harwich brings 7 men up, and they get a couple runs in Jonathan Santucci and Brian Arndt. Kalai Harrison picks up his first 2 RBIs of the Cape League season, and it's now a 5-0 Mariners lead. We head to the break. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
The left fielder from Vanderbilt, number 33, Jack Bolger.
We welcome you back. Devin Dobek, Tim Foley bringing you the action from White House Field on a beautiful Friday night just ahead of the All-Star game tomorrow. Sean Sullivan is back out there for his 5th inning of work, trying to line himself up for the win. As 1-0 count now to Jack Bolger, who had that controversial mistake out in left field on a ball that looked like he could have caught, but it fell in. It was ruled a hit. It cost his team another 2 runs, so looking for some vengeance here at the plate. He's ahead in the count on Sullivan, 2-0. Next pitch is big swing and a miss, trying to get it all back with one swing. Makes it 2-1 now. Garrett Guillemette is on deck, followed by Austin Knight due up for the Firebirds, the managerless Firebirds for that matter. As this one just below the knees, a close pitch. Sullivan behind in the count now. It's 3-1. He's just had the 1 walk here tonight. Bolger hitting .234. As this one runs inside, it'll be a 5-pitch walk to lead off the 5th for Garrett Guillemette.
And we'll see how Sullivan responds. He's been able to handle himself well so far here tonight when he's allowed runners to get on base. Walked Humphrey to lead off the 2nd, but then sat him down 1-2-3 thereafter. Allowed Jones on in the 4th inning, but Jones was then put out on a liner over to 3rd as he was then doubled up. Goodwin whipped it onto 1st in time. So Sullivan's handled himself well with pressure on the base paths. We'll see what he does here now in the 5th with a little more work under his belt.
Guillemette popped up to 2nd. Back in the 2nd. Runner on 1st in Bolger. It's a 2-0 count, and Brian Arndt going to want to talk things over with Sullivan, who's had some control problems, and Steve Rosen will also make his way out of the dugout.
Yeah, not the way you want to see the inning open here. A walk, and then you go down 2-0 to the very next batter. Certainly warranting a conversation as Sullivan going to look to get it back dialed in here in the inning.
So it's just been 2 Firebirds, 3 now that have reached base. Jack Bolger, Isaac Humphrey, and Cam Jones, the 3 through 5 hitters. Everybody else still trying to make their mark. They have been shut out on the scoreboard, have just the 1 hit. It's a 2-0 count now to Guillemette, the designated hitter. And he fouls this one off. Sullivan in there at 87, and it's 2-1.
That's what you want to do right out of a pitching conversation. Just get something over the plate, get him to offer, and get a strike.
Guillemette does have a pair of home runs on the season, and he lifts this one out to deep left field. Going back is Hameter, and it's over his head. Clangs off the wall, rounding 2nd, and into 3rd is Bolger. In the 2nd, standing up is Guillemette. And it's a double back-to-back base runners for the Firebirds. They're in business, 2 runners in scoring position with nobody away.
Banged that thing off the fence out in left field. That was a hard hit ball that was probably about 3 feet short of clearing the fence. Really well struck by Guillemette as he's putting Orleans in a good spot here to start chipping into this Harwich lead. 2 men on, nobody gone.
Austin Knight was a 2nd strikeout victim of Sullivan. 3 straight Firebirds went down by way of the K. And they're now due up with runners in scoring position. First pitch from Sullivan misses outside. Breaking ball at 79 to start Knight off 1-0. Knight coming in hitting .129. Without a homer or a run batted in. That's across 54 ABs, so kind of the tale of the tape about this struggling bottom of the order for the Firebirds. It's 1-1 count now from Sean Sullivan. He comes set once again, pitching with 2 runners in scoring position. And it's fouled off again, 1-2. The most trouble he's been in tonight was when Isaac Humphrey walked and then made it down to 2nd, but never could move anywhere from there. Most high pressure situation. Orleans trying to capitalize after a blunder to left field in the last inning cost them 2 runs. This one misses outside to make it 2-2. Sullivan up to 71 pitches on the afternoon. That's across 4+ innings thus far. Not as efficient as he can be. We saw him throw 88 pitches in that 7-inning stint. 2-2. He is rolled over down the third baseline. They're going to say fair ball. In to score is one man. Guillemette rounding. He'll be in to score as well. And it's back-to-back doubles for the Firebirds. Austin Knight checks in. Gets his first 2 RBIs. And the Firebirds now trail it by 3, 5-2.
Was not the hardest hit ball, but certainly a fair one. Tucked it right inside that third base line, just where it needed to be in order to beat Nick Goodwin, who wasn't terribly far from that third base bag, but far enough to make it an impossible play on the ball. Really nice hit from Knight. And again, this bottom third of the lineup, they've been struggling, but talk about clutch hitting as they're finally able to snap out of it. At least Knight is for the time being, and deliver 2 for the Firebirds.
Well, that will draw Jacob Edwards to begin to loosen up. The Mercer product is up and throwing in the bullpen. Another lefty. It's a 1-0 count now to Logan Beard, who struck out in the third. Firebirds have 2 hits in the inning, 3 on the day. They've also cashed in 2 here in the top of the 5th. The pitch. Misses down in the dirt. It's a hitter's count, 2-0 now to Logan Beard. Sullivan going to take a walk around the mound. A few deep breaths. He's back in there. His control starting to struggle. 33 balls to 41 strikes tonight for him. The pitch. Swung on and missed. 89 on that one. Makes it 2-1. Beard hitting 122 on the season. Connor Burns, who's on deck, hitting 128. So a couple outs that you got to get before the top of the order strikes. 2-1. Swung on and missed again. Makes it 2-2. Knight down at second after he drove in Guillemette and Bulger. Nobody gone here in the 5th. Sullivan checks the runner and comes home. That is fought off. Good pitch. Got him out in front of it, but a defensive swing that time from Beard to stay alive. Edwards has thrown 3+ balls past the catcher in the bullpen. Something definitely to watch out for. They're being swept off the field right now. As down goes the hitter and Beard. Big strikeout for Sean Sullivan. Desperately needed that out. Second time Beard has gone in that fashion today, and there's one away.
Yeah, you could not allow Beard to get on with the way that this inning's gone if you're Harwich. Huge out to be able to record there.
That will be the day for Sean Sullivan as Coach Englert cashes in the second mound visit of the inning. So Sullivan makes the walk off the mound. Jacob Edwards coming in to throw. We'll give you Sullivan's day and the new arm when we return. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back. Devin Doback, Tim Foley here. Called to the bullpen. Jacob Edwards out of Mercer climbing into the ball game. This will be his third appearance for the Mariners. Has a 1.80 ERA. He's thrown 5 innings, 5 strikeouts, no walks yet. He's allowed the 4 hits. He's been great thus far for Harwich when they've needed him. His debut, he went 2 innings against Falmouth. Allowed 3 hits and an earned run. Then against Falmouth, he was fantastic. 3 complete innings in just 31 pitches. Allowed just the 1 hit. Nobody came across, and he struck out 4. Comes in now in relief of Sean Sullivan, who went 4 1/3, allowed 3 hits, 6 strikeouts, 2 walks, and is responsible for the runner in Knight on second. 1-0 delivery is fouled off to make it 1-1 now to Connor Burns, who has struck out looking tonight.
Edwards, a lot of fun to watch him his last time out. Gave up just a leadoff single, but then retired the next 9 in order. See what he has here tonight on offer.
Edwards going to be transferring to Mercer, and this is flipped into right field. It will get down for a hit. Grounding first, taking a turn and stopping is Burns, and coming in to score is Austin Knight. So the bottom third of the order, who all went down on strikes in their first ABs, 2 of 3 of them have cashed in for RBI hits, and now it's just 5-3, and the tying run is brought to the plate in Luke Keishel.
Yeah, boy, how about this inning for Orleans? You figure as soon as that leadoff man in Bolger gets on with a walk, and then you see the double from Guillemette, perhaps Orleans will be able to bring 1, maybe 2 across, but they've really just done a nice job passing it along here in this inning, and they've found themselves back within striking distance. Brand new ball game.
It's 0-1 to Keishel, who on the day is 0 for 2, struck out looking, also flied out to right field. Trying to do some damage here. And the 0-1 offering. Bounced in the dirt. Arndt thought it got by him, but it's just at his feet, so the runner forced to stay, and Connor Burns down at first. Ball and a strike. And for Burns, just his 5th RBI of the season. Long Beach State product. Keishel looking to move him over, find himself on. Fouls off this pitch to make it 1-2. He's going to have to protect. He's one of 4 All-Stars for the Firebirds and the only one active tonight. Nate Furman, Travis Honeyman, not with the team anymore. 2 big losses. Bryce Warricker, of course, the pitcher who's been lights out, been in the bullpen most of the year, but we saw him start against Harwich. That was in the shutout loss. He's fantastic as Keishel foul tips it, and he will be retired. It was into the glove of Art. He hung on, and that will be the 2nd time Keishel's gone down on strikes tonight. First strikeout of the ball game for Jacob Edwards, and there's 2 away.
That's what you got to do. Find a way, come back, get the next guy. Forget about the fact you just gave up that single to Burns, and now it's all within your control here. Just take care of Urso if you can, and get out of the inning, still holding on to the lead.
J.D. Urso chops this one. Arndt's got it. It is foul. Flips it down to first anyway. 0-1 now to J.D. Urso, who is grounded out to third and also struck out swinging. It's been a great inning thus far for the Firebirds. They've gotten 3 back after a sloppy 4th inning in which they surrendered 2. Pace of play has absolutely slowed down as well. As this is cut on a miss, gets away from Arndt down the first baseline, and that's going to be a free 90 for Burns. He scampers down to second. It's 0-2 count now. J.D. Urso the batter, and that's all Edwards has got to focus on. Big spot for him here. Orleans also tallying 3 hits in the inning. 0-2. Cut on and missed. In the dirt, gets away from Arndt. He applies the tag, and that will be out number 3. Back-to-back strikeouts for Jacob Edwards. And he's currently lined himself up for the win as of now. So we'll take a quick break and see you on the other side. It's 5-3 Mariners. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
Bottom of the 5th for your Harwich Mariners, the right fielder from Alabama.
Seidel, Wilkin, and
number
Santucci
34,
due up
Tommy
for Harwich.
Seidel.
In the home half of the 5th, they lost 3 runs to the Firebirds in the top half. It's a 5-3 ball game. Back out there is Chris Clark. Came in for Allen. Started in the top of the 3rd and has surrendered the 2 runs, but not been too shabby out there. It's 0-1 now to the Alabama product. And the pitch. He pops it out to left field. Not much moving going out there for Bulger. It's trouble. He lost it again. It falls into shallow left field, picked up by Knight. He is really having some serious problems out there tracking the baseball. So it'll be another hit for the Mariners in that same fashion. That is the reason there is a lead for them in this ball game. And now they're in business. Tommy Seidel's into second.
I think that that was a broken play, and for a couple of reasons here. Well, really just the main reason being that Austin Knight should not have had any right being back out in left field. Jack Bulger should have charged in at that ball and called him off of it and settled under it to make the catch. But Knight, for some reason, was far back into left. I mean, he may as well have just been playing the position with how far back he went. That was just misplayed by Orleans, miscommunicated. Bulger should have called him off well early into that play and charged in at it.
Well, I think the issue was he didn't see it. He didn't move at all on that play. If you take another look at it, too bad we don't have replay, but he did not see it. Very similar to the hit we saw in the last inning, and therefore couldn't make the catch. 1-0 is slapped out into right field and hauled in. Here comes the tag and throw. Seidel is going to be into third. Another good throw from Humphrey. There's been a lot of tag ups, but he has been firing strikes just a touch or two late. So now it's going to be a runner on third with 1 away for Jonathan Santucci.
Yeah, good situational hitting here tonight for Harwich. I mean, Seidel in his own right had 2 sac flies, so it's only fitting that he's finally moved along after getting on base via a sac fly. So sets up Santucci well here, a guy who's been known to do some damage, an all-star. Try to move him around.
And the pitch. That's bouncing dirt, gets away from the catcher. Here comes the runner to the plate. Seidel is going to be in there. The tag was not applied by Clark. He was away from the bag, out of position. And this is going to draw an argument from the Orleans bench, but a really tough angle for them to have seen that Seidel got in there because Clark was not in front of the bag. So it'll be 6-3 Mariners. Some wheels from Tommy Seidel.
I would certainly say he was in there safe. I mean, I think, risky play for Seidel to try to come in. Santucci, he waved him home, but he didn't look all that confident while doing it. So Seidel, a bit of hesitation at first, but ultimately came charging right in there. As Orleans is going to go to the bullpen here in a moment, but was just able to slide in. Clark held the tag, I think, a bit further back over home plate on the back half relative to where the angle Seidel was sliding in at. So he really let Seidel come to him at that point. Seidel able to get a hand on home, no problem. Makes it 6-3 Mariners.
So we'll take a break, call to the bullpen. We'll be back on the other side, 6-3 Harwich. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. So Chris Clark has been yanked. He goes 2 1/3, allows 4 hits, 3 earned runs, and walks 2 with 3 strikeouts. Jonathan Santucci's ahead in the count, 1-0. So he was pulled mid-pitch after the wild pitch that brought in Tommy Seidel. It'll be Ryan Rissis coming in to pitch, the lefty. Gets a strike on Santucci to make it 1-1, 86 in on that one. And for Rissis from San Ramon, California, 6'3", 190 pounds. Goes to the University of Central San Diego out there in California. This will be his 4th appearance. He's thrown 5 complete innings, 4 hits, 4 runs, just 2 of them earned, 4 walks to 1 strikeout, and has a 3.60 ERA. He's ahead of Santucci, 1-2. And he will kick and fire. Swung on and missed. Santucci falls in the dirt, but he gets tagged out. Comes in and picks up his just 2nd strikeout of the season. On a big one, bases are empty.
Number 36, Will Hammer.
That's a nice job. being able to come in already down in the count without having even thrown a pitch. Strikes a guy out in Santucci. Well done by Rissus to be able to open up his outing effectively.
Will Hamiter digs in. He's 1 for 2. He has singled and scored. 1-0 count as that one bounced and gets all the way to the backstop. Hamiter really starting to wake up. He was robbed of a hit with a nice play by Logan Beard in the hole on the right side of the infield. Did advance the runner, which at the time was Santucci, who would come around to score. Mariners have been much more prolific situationally than they were in the first half of the season, as this is chopped but foul back towards the Orleans dugout, and it'll make it 1-1 now. So Rissus going to be bringing a 4-seam fastball, breaking ball, and changeup tonight. Big fan of mob movies. Fouls that one off. Be a ball and 2 strikes, 89 on that pitch. He's got that very vertical delivery. Brings it all the way up past the ear and then comes way down, pulling down the shade in that follow through. His best outing was his last one, went an inning and a third. Walked nobody, allowed no hits. Didn't pick up any strikeouts, but allowed no runs. Did his job. As this is foul tipped into the catcher's mitt, it's back-to-back strikeouts for Ryan Rissus, who's stepped into the ball game, and the side is retired. So, Mariners get one back as Tommy Seidel comes in on a wild pitch. We'll take a quick break and head to the 6th inning. 6-3 Mariners on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
Cam Jones.
3, 4, 5 due up for the Firebirds. All of them have reached thus far in the ball game. Just one with a hit, and it's the man at the plate in Cam Jones. Had a single back in the 4th, but he got doubled up on a line drive hit by the ensuing batter and Isaac Humphrey. It's 1-0 count to him as Jacob Edwards back on the hill. Came in relief of Sullivan. Picked up a couple strikeouts and looking to build off that success, as this is foul tipped into the mitt. So Sullivan's final line, 4 1/3, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, walks 2 and strikes out 6. It's 1-1 count now to Cam Jones. This one is chopped weakly over to shortstop. Harrison on the run, has to get out of it quickly, and it's picked in time. Joe Vitrano taking it down to a knee. They get the out. And that's how the 6th inning starts, with a 6-3 putout.
A really nice defensive play by Harrison, just able to get that thing over in time. Impressive, showing off the arm, but to talk about Sullivan again, I mean, really solid outing for him. Of course, up until that 5th inning, had only faced one more than the minimum across his first 4. It was a lot of what we had seen from him in his last start, but it just fell apart for him.
This one is fouled back. Make it 0-1 to the 4-hitter Isaac Humphrey. He's walked in, lined out here tonight. 0 for 1. He was the first base runner for the Firebirds and the only one through the first 3 innings. Fights this one off again towards the Mariner bullpen. It gets out of play, but it's quickly 0-2. Edwards does not waste much time out there on the mound. Comes set once again, and the 0-2. This is fought right into left field. Dive, but not in time out there by Hamiter. So the ball falls in. Looked like he was going to be able to make a great play on it, but goes in and out of the glove. And it'll be a single, the 5th hit of the ball game for the Firebirds, first of the day for Isaac Humphrey.
Yeah, he had a chance at it. Nice effort from Hamiter, a guy who you don't often see playing recently. We talked about it a bit earlier, so trying to make the most of his outings while he's out here. You love to see the full extension effort, just unable to time that out properly. Tough ball to be able to come in on with how far back out and left he is.
Jack Bolger climbs in, and he watches ball 1 below the knees. He has walked and scored, most recently in the 5th. Also grounded out to the shortstop and Harrison back in the 2nd. 6-3 Mariners out hitting the Firebirds as well, 6-5. So here comes the 1-0 offering. That catches the outside corner at 90 miles an hour for a strike. Humphrey on first, 1 away here. Mariners looking to put together back-to-back wins. Now into the 2nd half of the ball game. That one cut on a miss. Bolger went down to get it, but couldn't catch up to it, and it's 1-2. Edwards out of the stretch now. Comes set. Takes a quick look at the runner. And the 1-2. There he goes. It's bounced in the dirt. Arndt has to make a stop, so no way to make a throw down to second. It'll be a stolen base for Isaac Humphrey, and he's in scoring position now with 1 away.
Yeah, tough break for Arndt behind home. Not a lot you can do on a runner going down to second when you get a ball in the dirt like that. So Edwards not helping him out much there, as it's an even count here with 1 gone.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Edwards trying to pick up his 3rd strikeout, and this is chopped over in the hole, gets through. Harrison couldn't catch up to it. Now it'll be runners on the corners, back-to-back hits for the Firebirds. Now 2 on with just 1 away. Tying run coming to the plate.
Yeah, they're stringing it together here. That's the 2nd time in this game Orleans has had back-to-back hits. Only other time it happened was the next 2 batters in Guillemette and Knight. So Orleans, some guys up to bat now who have been seeing it well tonight. Both doubled in their last at-bats, so potential to try to cut back into this Harwich lead even more.
And believe it or not, the starter, Liam Sullivan, going to get loose in the bullpen. Have not seen him in a relief appearances since the first week or 2 of the season.
We did hear it would be possible for him to throw tonight, and so circumstances seem to be requiring such.
Just 1 away for Edwards. He'll take a look over at first base. A very close play. Bolger electing not to slide, and it almost cost him. Guillemette had a double back in the 5th. Came around to score. And a 3-run 5th for the Firebirds. 7 men came to the plate in that inning. The pitch. Misses outside. It's 2-0. Just crossed 8:30 Eastern time here. Already 2 hours into this one. Still just in the top of the 6th. The pitch. This is fouled back to make it 2-1. Around the Cape Cod Baseball League, YD defeated Wareham 11-1 at Red Wilson Field in 8 innings. Cotuit defeated Chatham 7-3 at Lowell Park, so both clubs will be happy to hear about that. Hyannis on top of Brewster 3-1 in the bottom of the 8th. Bourne trails Falmouth 7-2 at Doran Park in the top of the 8th. And of course 6-3 Mariners here in the top of the 6th. 2-2 count to Garrett Gilmet, the designated hitter. He's hitting .226 on the season from Yorba Linda, California. 2-2. Foul tipped into the catcher's mitt. Arndt hangs on. A huge strikeout for Jacob Edwards, especially considering a runner on third with one away. A lot of ways to get him in, but he picks up a strikeout, his third. And now there's 2 away.
Yeah, there's been no damage done this inning. Certainly plenty of pressure being applied on Edwards right now, but he stands to get out of it unscathed if he can handle Knight here. A guy who did piece one his last time up, one of the final batters that Sullivan faced, but generally has been struggling as of late, so we'll see if Edwards is able to take care of him here.
Austin Knight is 1 for 2. He doubled and scored in the 5th. He also struck out. He's got runners on the corners. He represents the tying run potentially in this ball game. They keep checking over on Bolger down at first base. Bolger does have 8 stolen bases on the season. He's only been caught once. So guy more than capable of being put in motion, especially with his team trailing by 3. But more difficult against the lefty and Edwards. This is ripped down into left field. Gets down in front of Hamner. He's got it on 1 bounce. 1 run is in. Everybody else moves up 90 feet. It's an RBI single for Austin Knight. His 2nd RBI hit of the night. And 2nd hit of the night for that matter. It's a 6-4 game now.
Yeah, Orleans was getting no hit through 3. But you can forget all about that impressive effort to open up this ball game. They've gotten 7 hits across their last 2 2/3 innings played, and so they've really found their stride recently at the dish. We'll see how Edwards is able to stay settled here.
And with that hit, it's almost more than likely Liam Sullivan will be pitching next inning, assuming Edwards can get out without the game being tied up. It's an 0-1 count now to the 8-hitter Logan Beard.
Yeah, and you want to try to get Sullivan as clean an inning, as clean a start as possible. A guy who can handle batters, one of the strikeout leaders on this Harwich Mariners squad, but even still, you don't want to put him in a high leverage situation.
Does have 32 strikeouts. That's a team high. Trails the league lead, held by Ben Hampton, who has 38. 1-1 count now from Edwards. Logan Beard has punched out swinging twice. He's one of 3 that have struck out twice in this Firebird order. Two-1 count. Connor Burns on deck. He's the 9-hitter. Had an RBI single back in the 5th. So this bottom of the order is starting to get hot, with the exception of Beard. He's trying to partake in this wealth. 2-1 offering. That is chopped foul to make it 2-2. On first is Knight. Bolger's on second. Beard the batter. Top of the 6th inning here at White House Field. The sun is gone. Officially dark out. Cool summer night here in Harwich, Mass. 2-2. That just misses inside. A very close play, or very close pitch. But Edwards now, big payoff pitch coming. The runners will be moving on it. Connor Burns, as mentioned, had a big hit back in the 5th, and he would love to have a taste of Edwards here in the 6th. 3-2. Checked his swing. Did he go? No, says the first base umpire. So they're all loaded up. It's a full count walk issued from Edwards, and now he is in a jam.
And not where you want to find yourself with
Now
the
batting for the
go-ahead
Firebirds,
run
catcher
now
from Long Beach
aboard,
State, number
represented
25,
by Beard.
Connor Burns.
And again, you're still in this bottom third of the lineup if you're Edwards, if you're Harwich, and so try to deal with Burns here, who does have a hit tonight, before sending it back to the top of the order.
That hit came off Jacob Edwards. It was the first batter he faced. It was a bloop down the right field line that fell and drove in the 3rd run for the Firebirds. Edwards back on the mound. Thought about scaring the runner in Bolger back to 3rd. Here comes the first pitch to Burns. It's 0-1 now, that one on the outer part of the plate. Bit of a gamble for Harwich, leaving him out there, bases loaded, 2 outs. But faith in Edwards against the 9-hitter. 0-1. Misses down low, makes it 1-1.
And again, I really think they're just trying to get Sullivan that clean inning, because they know if they can get him out there in the 7th inning with just three innings to cover, he's going to be able to take care of it for you.
1-1. Swung on and missed. Makes it 1-2. So Edwards now a pitch away from getting out of all of the mess, while allowing just the 1 run that came in on Isaac Humphrey. Long look in, takes a look over at 3rd. Comes set. And the big 1-2 pitch. Foul tipped. Arndt hangs on. A big strikeout for Jacob Edwards, his 4th of the night. And the Mariners take a 2-run lead to the home half of the 6th. 6-4. We'll be right back. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
The catcher from UNC Wilmington, number 11, Brian Arndt.
Brian Arndt, David Smith, and then the top of the order due up. And forgive me, it was Ryan Reeses who took the mound. We just got a pronunciation. Or Reeses, right? Reese's like the peanut butter cup.
Well, now that's the conundrum. We were told that it's pronounced like the candy, but you already have that whole debacle where it's either Reese's Cup or Reese's Cup. Reese's or Reese's. So now we got the press box up
I'm
in
going to
arms.
Reese's.
Reese's.
Reese's. It's 0-1 from Rhesus to Brian Arndt. I think that the A is going to solidify that for me.
I agree.
0-1 is bounced to make it 1-1. He came in and struck out back-to-back men in relief of Chris Clark. And third pitch is outside to Arndt, who has popped up to the catcher. Also come around to score in the fourth. Still a violent argument going on in press row here at White House Field.
Yeesh.
Royal Rumble in Al Graber press box. 2-1. That is popped but foul off and into the seats. Make it 2-2. I think friendships are being ruined over there. Good thing there's glass separating us.
Goodness.
But this is really getting ugly between the Chris's, the official scorer and the PA announcer.
I'm glad I'm not over there tonight.
We'll have to have him hug it out as Arndt pops another one over towards the fence, but it escapes out of play, so he stays alive at 2-2. David Smith, who is on deck, has singled twice in the ballgame, been stranded at third both times. Rhesus comes set, and the pitch. That one in there. Arndt is rung up on strikes. 3 straight punch-outs for Ryan Rhesus.
Coming to the plate for your Harwich Mariners, the second baseman.
There's quickly
UConn,
one away here in the home half of the 6th.
David Smith.
It's a long at bat. Arndt able to put together a quality AB there, but even still, nice of Rhesus to be able to lock it down.
So David Smith has got a multi-hit game here tonight. His average now is up to 200. Drops down a bunt down third base line. It's going to escape foul, though, so he'll have to get back and do it again. Smith, a UConn Husky, rising senior for them. And that multi-hit game he's put up here tonight is just his second of the season. No homers, 2 RBIs for him. It's up to 50 at-bats on the season. Made his debut back in the doubleheader against Wareham at the end of June. A 1 comes way inside. Smith has to back off the plate, and it's 1-1.
You know, very quickly here, Devin, as there's still an argument going on in the background, I'm getting ready to just go over there and put an end to the argument once and for all, so long as I have to keep hearing it in the background. That's all I'll say on that.
1-1, chopped over to shortstop. Knight comes in, and he's going to have to eat the throw. Might have been an issue on the transfer, but David Smith on for the 3rd time tonight. And it's going to be a hit for him. So 3 infield hits for David Smith. Go figure. That's his first 3-hit game of the season. He is the 4th Mariner this season to have a 3-hit game.
Yeah, impressive stuff from him that we've seen. You're right. It must have been something on the transfer for Knight because he got to the ball with plenty of time, but just not able to make that change from his glove to his throwing hand quickly enough. Plus, not to mention Smith, he's got some good speed. Clearly, as you mentioned, his 3rd infield hit.
Yeah, it was hit softly, and when you got a guy who can run, very difficult to make a play. It's got to be picture perfect, and just a quick stumble from Knight would do it, as Smith is now on for the top of the order. Nick Goodwin 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. It's average down to 258. He was up to 275 last week, but in a bit of a lull. 2-0 count to him, Kansas State Wildcat. Still no errors in the ball game. 7 hits aside, 6 runs for the Mariners, 4 for the Firebirds. Smith taking a lead. He's checked on by Rhesus. And the pitch. Fouled off over towards the on-deck circle. Joe Vitrano can't knock it down, and the Bat Boys have possession of it. So Nick Goodwin has already scored a run tonight, looking for a chance to knock Smith around. Pick-off attempt, but Smith back in there with the right hand. Smith, the first base runner Rhesus has allowed. Struck out the first 3 he faced, dating back to the 5th inning, where he came in after Clark went 2 1/3. Kalai Harrison on deck, on the on-deck rug, per se. On-deck rectangle.
Yeah, not sure what that is.
The on-deck rec, we'll call it.
Brought out the shag carpeting from 1972.
2-1. Misses up high, and it's 3-1. So now in jeopardy of letting another man reach first base in Nick Goodwin. After Harrison, it would be Joe Vitrano, who's in the hole currently. Here comes the pitch. Misses way inside. Nick Goodwin draws his 2nd walk of the ball game, and now there's runners on first and second with 1 away for Kalai Harrison, who's reached base 3 times tonight.
Now batting for your Harwich Mariners,
2 singles and 2
shortstop
RBI
from
for Harrison
NC
as well.
State,
So
number 35,
mentioned it in his
Kalai
last at-bat, a guy who you
Harrison.
want to see come up to bat, and he's once again just the guy you want in this situation. With a runner in scoring position now, only 1 gone. Chance here for the rest of the top of your lineup to continue to put in some work here if you're Harwich.
And he's making Coach Englert look like a genius for putting him at the top of the order, the way he's been tonight.
Certainly, I'd say playing himself into that role right now. Back-to-back games he's scored from this 2-hole.
First pitch from Rhesus. Bounced in the dirt, makes it 1-0. Liam Sullivan still throwing, staying loose out there, so almost certainly so will come into the ball game. Harrison waggles the bat in the left side of the box. Here comes the pitch. Lays off it, but it's in at the letters, so it'll be a 1-1 count now. 88 on that fastball from Maurices. Goodwin on first, Smith at second, and Kalai Harrison the batter. Misses outside. Thought about snap throwing. Harrison just had his life flash before his eyes. He thought he was going to get drilled.
Yeah, it helps to have a lefty in the box here right now, protecting the runner down on first and Nick Goodwin.
Reese's got to find a way to get out here. Two one. That is cut on and missed to make it 2-2. Harrison got to shorten up here. Got 2 strikes on him. You don't want to make that second out when you got 2 men on. Joe Vitrano will hit next, barring a double play. It's about 10 of 9 Eastern time. Still just in the bottom of the 6th. Reeses kicks, fires, and it's sprayed off to the left. So we'll stay at 2-2.
Just loving the at-bats we're seeing here tonight from Harrison. Putting up a lot of fight, finding ways to get hits, getting on. It's been a lot of fun to watch. I know I said it already, but really playing himself into this two-hole here.
Harbor Hawks did defeat the Whitecaps 3-2 at McKeon Park. They remain in first place in the West. It has been a great stretch for them. With that rookie manager in there doing them wonders. Falmouth on top of Bourne, 7-3. That's in the top of the 9th. So this game very much behind schedule. Two-two count to Harrison. He waggles the bat, and here comes the delivery. Misses way outside, and it's 3-2 now. Harrison has worked it full.
And boy, Reeses has just struggled here in this inning. It's been a long half inning, despite this only being the fourth batter.
Struck out the first 3 he saw, but since then he's allowed a single and a walk. And now Harrison, pitch away from getting himself on. Checked his swing, got a piece of it. It's fouled off back to the netting. So it'll be a 3-2 count. Once again, Harrison gonna see his 9th pitch of this at-bat. Reese's pitch count, this will be number 30 for him. Couple West Coast kids going against each other here on the East Coast. Harrison, the Hawaii native, Reeses, the California native. Here's the payoff. Rolled over down the first baseline, and it is foul. Just missed the bag. Had it hit the bag, might have deflected off to the right. But Harrison now going to see double-digit pitches in this at-bat. He's really put one together nicely.
I thought that might have even hit the bag. It looked like it tailed slightly off to the right as it was heading down the line, but nonetheless, at-bat stays alive here for Harrison. Not that it would have ended had that been ruled fair, but it's been a really nice fight from him here.
Yet another 3-2 pitch is coming to Harrison, trying to get on base for the 4th time tonight. Payoff. He lines it, but foul over towards the Orleans bullpen. So he'll hang in there for number 11. Vetrano getting a little impatient on deck. Probably thinking, my turn to hit, my turn to hit. But Harrison really making Reeses work for this out here. Three balls, 2 strikes. The pitch. Misses outside, and Harrison wins an 11-pitch battle to load up the bases with 1 out for Joe Vetrano.
One of the better at-bats of the season right there. Just
Harwich Mariners,
able to
the first
fight off
baseman
just
from
about
Boston
everything
College,
that he
30,
sees that's
Joe
anywhere near the strike zone he doesn't
Vetrano.
like. Ultimately, he's able to win the battle, takes that 4th ball outside. So impressive. I think that after the All-Star break, I'd be surprised if Kalai Harrison was not batting second, given what we are seeing here today.
Of course, consistency also a big thing. I mean, last night did have an 0 for game in that 2 spot. Came around to score, but got on with a fielder's choice, so went 0 for 4. Yes, he's had a great game tonight, but going to have to string a few more of them if he wants to cement himself in the top of that order.
Certainly, and I'd say I agree with you there in regards to cementing himself there. But at least one more game. You know, the way it kind of works is you'll get that game-by-game audition, and I'd say he passed tonight.
All-Star break is going to be this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, so the 23rd and 24th will be off for the Mariners. And then they play 3 games in 3 days. But only one against an East Division opponent in the Brewster Whitecaps. That's on the 25th when they return. Vetrano, a big cut on a high fastball that time. So he's behind in the count, 0-1. Seven hits aside. The pitch misses up and away. Reese is not in any hurry to get the ball home. That's
takes his time.
Big reason why this inning has lasted as long as it has. Very slow baseball. Just 1 hit in the inning, couple walks, so they've been long at bats. Reese is now up to 34 pitches. Here's the 1-1. Vetrano fouls it back up over the press box, and it's 1-2. Smith's at third, Goodwin's at second, Kalai Harrison at first. Reeses dangling the ball towards his left thigh. Now he brings his hands together at the belt, kicks and delivers, and Vetrano fights one out into left field, but under it is Bulger. He records the out. Coming in to score is Smith, and a hard slide in from Goodwin over at third base. So it'll be a sac fly for Joe Vetrano. He picks up RBI number 20 for himself, second in the Cape Cod Baseball League. And there's still runners at second and third now for Tommy Seidel.
And that's just the second out of the inning. I mean, it's been a marathon here in the bottom of the 6th. Excellent, you're able to capitalize if you're Harwich. You finally get somebody across, and Smith, who had been out on the base paths for what feels like forever.
Orleans thought maybe Goodwin didn't tag up in time or left a little early, so they throw over to second, but James Fonseca, not having any of it, throws out the arms, and now that will bring out the interim head coach for the Firebirds. We'll see if they'll make a change here, and they will. So a call to the bullpen here in what has been a month-long bottom of the 6th. We'll take a quick break. 7-4 Mariners. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
Tommy Seidel.
Tommy Seidel is set to face Tommy Hopfe, who crawls into the game for the Firebirds. This will be his 7th appearance. He's thrown 13 1/3, allowed 11 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 walks to 13 strikeouts, a 1-0 record, and a 2.70 ERA this season.
And he's a guy who's gotten in just about every single game played between these two so far. This is his 5th appearance against the Mariners alone. 7 2/3 in that span, 5 earned runs, ERA of 5.87. 4 strikeouts to just 2 walks.
And I'm sorry, I misread the line. It's actually his 11th appearance. He has a 3.38 ERA across 18 2/3 innings. It's a 1-1 count to Tommy Seidel. And that one misses down low. So it'll be 2-1 to the Alabama Crimson Tide product. Ryan Reese has just left the game. Pretty shaky night for him after he got out of that 5th inning. He went 1 1/3, allowed 1 hit, an earned run, walked 2, struck out 3, but he is responsible for the 2 runners in scoring position in Goodwin and Harrison. It's 1-2 now to Tommy Seidel, or 2-2 now to Tommy Seidel.
You want to try to keep the parade going here if you're Harwich. This inning's been going for 20 minutes. Bottom of the 6th started right about 8:43. It's 9:03 right now.
It has been a long half inning. Pitching change, of course, not helping, and a pair of walks as well. As this is grounded over towards third base. Urso's got it, and the throw skips away. In to score already is Goodwin. Right behind him is Harrison, and it's a 9-4 Mariner lead. As that will be the first error, and it will go against J.D. Urso to keep the rally alive.
Batting for your Harwich Mariners, the DH from Wake Forest, number 25.
He's just been finding ways to catch breaks.
Wilkie.
Surprisingly, the first error of the ball game, despite what's been an interesting showing here defensively for Orleans. So Harwich just continuing to capitalize, and now you got a man on Wilkin who knows how to do damage whenever he comes in.
So Seidel is on first base now for Brock Wilkin, who's 0 for 3 with a strikeout, ground out, and fly out. He's behind in the count, 0-1 now. Bourne Braves down 6 runs now as Falmouth is up 9-3 in the top of the 9th and still counting. Another long half inning out there at Doran Park.
Yes, things are looking tougher and tougher for Wareham in the basement in the West right now, as they've now lost 4 straight.
0-2 count. At least they get to host the All-Star game tomorrow, I guess, if you want to look positive. As there goes the runner in Seidel. The throw going to beat him by a million miles. He is tagged out. 4th time he's been caught this season, and that will retire the side. But the Mariners strike for 3 more, and they have a 5-run lead built here as we head to the late innings. 9-4 Harwich. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
Fans, it's time to pull out those Fielder from Arizona State, number 17.
We welcome you back
Keishel.
into the final third of the ball game. Top of the order for the Firebirds, and taking you the rest of the way, my broadcast partner, Tim Foley. Tim.
Thanks so much, Devin. As we bring you to the top of the 7th inning, it's the top of the order as well for Orleans. As up to bat now, Luke Keishel, 0 for 3 on the night, 2 strikeouts and a fly out to right field. Count opens up to him. It's 0-1 as the new arm on the mound is now going to be Liam Sullivan. 1-0, and is now 2-0 as the next pitch misses as well. Liam Sullivan is on the mound now. The day is done for Jacob Edwards. His line looks like this: an inning and 2/3. Gave up 4 hits, 1 run. It was earned. Walked the batter and struck out 4. Gave up the 4 hits, but he was able to help leave Orleans with 3 stranded back in the top half of the 6th inning. So only 1 run came of that. As that's cut on and missed, it's now a 2-2 count. 90 miles an hour, that pitch came crashing in at Sullivan. The big lefty, generally a starter, as we've alluded to. Although this is going to be, for him, his 3rd appearance out of the bullpen, as that's going to be cut on and missed. Strike 3. Liam Sullivan comes out of the pen and strikes out the first batter. He faces exactly what Harwich brought him in to do, a guy who strikes people out. 32 strikeouts on the season in just 22 innings pitched and 6 walks to those 32 strikeouts. An impressive ratio for a guy who knows how to get guys to go down. Faces off against J.D. Urso now. First pitch into him, misses high at 91 miles an hour. Urso on the night, 0 for 3, struck out twice. Once in each of his last 2 at-bats in the 4th and 5th innings. Here's the 1-0. That's popped up out toward right field. Tommy Seidel's underneath it. He'll settle down, make the catch, and there's now 2 gone in the inning.
I see Liam Sullivan getting a rhythm. He has not been great his last couple outings. Most recently was credited for the loss. Went 4 innings, allowed 5 hits, only had 2 strikeouts. And then the outing before only went 2 2/3 through 70 pitches. Gave up 3 earned runs and walked 4.
So he's trying to get back on track. We have seen some excellent starts from him. And if you can consider this a start to his outing, he's already doing an excellent job here. Quickly 2 gone in the top of the 7th inning as the first pitch misses. Down low, dropped by Arndt for a ball. It's a 1-0 count. 90 miles an hour that pitch came soaring in at. Jones on the night, 1 for 3. Singled back in the 4th inning. That was his lone time getting on. Although he was doubled up at first on a hot shot to 3rd that Nick Goodwin was able to whip back onto first to get Jones as he was caught out in the base paths. It's been an impressive game defensively for Harwich. We've seen some fancy stuff. As that's going to be it for a called strike. It's a 2-1 count now. Pitch came in at 90 miles an hour. Sullivan holds the glove head height, rocks and delivers. That's flared off the end of the bat. Foul. It's a 2-2 count now.
Be nice to pick up his 2nd strikeout here. Settle in nicely, and who knows, maybe pick up a 9-out closeout. Not really a safe scenario for him.
But he is the kind of guy who's able to eat up an outing like this, so that's exactly what Harwich is going to be hoping for. As the 2-2 drops inside, misses at 77, off-speed pitch that just couldn't find the zone.
He's had trouble with that breaking ball, especially as of late. He's been bouncing it in the dirt a little bit. We'll see if he can figure it out here late in the ball game.
3-2 is fought off, and so we'll do it again at 3-2. See if Sullivan's able to record his 2nd strikeout of the inning, trying to retire the Firebirds in what would be a much faster half inning than that 21-minute marathon we saw back in the bottom of the 6th, as that's going to be hit foul. Popped up and dropped onto the berm along the 3rd base side. Still a decent crowd on hand here at White House Field. Plenty of fans still in attendance, although This game certainly getting into the later portions, 9:12 local time. Mariners had their longest game of the season this past Sunday when the team played a game on Nesson at Chatham, 3 hours and 21 minutes. That's going to be popped up to right field once again. Seidel underneath it makes the catch, and so the inning ends. We head now to the bottom of the seventh. Mariners up by 5. It's 9-4 Harwich. We'll be back in a minute. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
The DH from Wake Forest.
Welcome back inside the broadcast booth. Tim Foley and Devin Dobick along with you for this one, as it's now the bottom of the seventh inning here. And some news to report to you is that the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, after having an abysmal season in 2021, 8 wins, 28 losses, no ties for 16 points, are the first team in 2022 to clinch a playoff spot in the 2022 Cape Cod Baseball League playoffs. How about it for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, turning it around in the most dramatic of fashions, currently atop the West with 46 points, a record of 20, 10, and 6. It's just been impressive to watch from afar what Hyannis has been able to do. Harwich will take one more trip out to McKeon Park. That's set to be early in August, as it's a 2-0 count to Brock Wilkin that misses low at 88. 3-0 now here to Bama. Wilkin on the night 0 for 3. But, I mean, how about it, Devin, just the way that Hyannis has performed this season as 3-0 comes in, and that's going to be pulled out foul down the left field line. And we'll do it again at 3-1.
It's been incredible. I mean, of course, a new group in. Every year you get new players almost entirely. So that turnaround is a little, less special, but it's still awesome that Hyannis gets to see winning baseball.
Lined right over to the shortstop in night. One gone.
I mean, to your point, coming in and for a while they were hovering, win, loss, nothing consistent throughout the first couple weeks of the season, but they have really just gone on a tear as of late, and well-deserved. And they've really just been picking up wins. They surpassed Katuitt, who held a 6-game lead over them at one point, and it's just been fun to watch them climb all the way back and lock up a postseason spot.
That's hit down the left field line, foul. Jonathan Santucci stands in now, 0 for 2 on the night with a walk, run scored, and a strikeout, along with a flyout to second. But yeah, plenty of credit to be given to Eric Beattie, the way that he has helped to lead his ball club this season. So out of the front office, Nick Johnson, Zach Chase, as this ball's flying out towards center field. Right field, Pardon. Ball's going to be caught, and there's quickly 2 gone.
So, yeah, it's just really cool, especially with the 4-team format last year. The fact that Hyannis, they weren't going to get in regardless, but now they lock up the first spot here in 2022. That's another thing that's so great about summer baseball is with those new guys being pumped in every year, it's anybody's race. Like, you're not going to have to go through a rebuild or anything. So one year you have a good team, one year you don't.
As this ball's going to be hit back up toward the middle. That's going to be booted by Logan Beard. He'll kick it out into shallow center field. Will Haminer is going to be on for the second time tonight, albeit likely an error on that one. I mean, he was playing soccer on that one.
The catcher
got it
UNC
with the leg.
Wilmington, number
This does
11,
bring up Brian Arndt,
Arndt.
and is going to be ruled an error as anticipated. So that is on Beard. Second error of the night against the Firebirds.
Hoffey almost had the 1-2-3 inning. That would have been nice, but I'll have to stick it out there a little longer now.
First pitch into Arndt, misses outside, 1-0. And Orleans was really in need of a quick 1-2-3 inning after the slog that was that sixth inning. You think of a 21-minute inning, you figure more than 5 guys are going to be able to come up to bat. I mean, Harwich just extended each and every at-bat in that last inning. 2 walks, a single. Seidel reached on an error, and the sac fly from Vetrano.
I mean, you would think, because 6 came up.
Well,
so
technically, I mean, officially no, as Brock Wilkin was sent back because Tommy Seidel was caught stealing. I mean, I hear you. But even still, it's not like Seidel getting caught stealing happened all that late into the AB. Oh, I'm sorry, 6. I can't count. Nonetheless, I mean, even still, hey.
No, you're right. It was long. It was like 3 minutes of batter.
Arithmetic aside.
Yeah.
3-0 pitch to Arndt. Catches the zone. It's 3-1.
Pitching change didn't help either. And all those at-bats, 2 walks were issued, so it was just long from start to finish. And Rhesus in no hurry at all.
That ball's going to be hit out towards center field. Charging in is Keishel. He's able to make the catch, and he takes some of White House Field with him when he does it. Kicks up a huge chunk of dirt. I'm not quite too sure that Jared Hopkins is going to be happy about that when he has to mow the lawn at some point. Nonetheless, we'll be back in the top half of the 8th inning. Firebirds back up to bat when we return. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
Firebirds, the right fielder from Louisville, number 30, Isaac Humphrey.
Isaac Humphrey, the leadoff man, the right fielder out of Louisville. He is 1 for 2 on the night, singled back in the 6th inning, came all the way around to score at that point. He's the leadoff man as Liam Sullivan is back out there looking for his 2nd full inning of work. Had a clean 1-2-3 back in the 7th. Struck out rather. The leadoff man and Luke Kieshel before retiring Urso and Jones on pop-outs to right field. 87 miles an hour that last pitch came in at. A 1-1 count now. Wind still blowing out toward left field as it has been all night long. No one's really taken advantage of that. We've seen a few doubles that way, but nobody's gone yard yet here tonight. It's a 2-1 count. You know Harwich is plenty capable. Had that stretch right about end of June into July. Homered in 8 straight games, I want to say. As the 2-1's going to be hit foul. That will head out of play onto the berm down the left field line. And so it's a 2-2 count now. Sullivan looking for his second strikeout of the outing and just his 4th batter faced. Going up against Humphrey here. Bulger and Guillemette on deck. We'll see them in the inning as well. Here's the 2-2. Hit on the ground right side. Picked up by Smith. He'll throw on to first. That's in time. It's a 4-3 putout as Humphrey goes down. Now 1 for 3 on the night.
Now batting for the Firebirds, the left fielder
It has
from
been
Vanderbilt,
a rough
number
go for the
33,
Orleans
Jack
Firebird
Bulger.
tonight. I was going to say for the Firebird offense, but their defense has not done them any favors as well. 9-4 ball game and only 2 errors for them, but you could argue that there's 4. 2 balls lost in the light, which is an error technically, but like if it's a play that likely should have been caught, you know, it's right in that gray area of a blunder but not an error.
Again, it's one of those things, you talked about it yesterday with Brewster. There are plays that you just expect to be made, you know, at the end of the day, regardless of whether or not it's categorized as an error. Yes, it's an 0-1 count to open it up here to Jack Bulger, who on the day, 1 for 2, has scored. Got on with a walk and came all the way around to the 5th inning. Got on with a walk to lead off that 5th in what was an eventful inning for the Firebirds. Back-to-back doubles after that leadoff walk. Had a stretch from the 4th inning to the 6th inning. Recorded 7 hits, scored 4 runs. It was a productive middle third. But so far, they've gone right back to being quiet. 2-1 count here to Bulger. Sullivan. The pitch. This is high, 3-1.
Got another final for you. Commodores stomp the Braves 10-3 in a game that lasted 3 hours and 8 minutes out in Bourne.
3-1 pitch is going to miss low. Ball 4. Something you don't see often from Liam Sullivan is a walk. He's now got 7 on the season to his
number 10,
33 strikeouts.
That's been a fantastic ratio. I mean, you can't argue with anything he's done in the strikeout department. It's been his MO, but walks have been creeping up on him in his last 3 outings, including today. He's got 6 of those 7.
Swing and a miss. Count opens at 0-1. Batter is Garrett Guillemette on the night, 1 for 3. Doubled and came all the way around in that 5th inning. But since then had struck out to Jacob Edwards back in the 6th. As he'll swing and miss at the 0-1. Count moves to 0-2. Sullivan the pitch. Hit on the ground left side. Foul. We'll do it again at 0-2. And another look at the standings. We talked about how the West is starting to settle. We'll see some finalization in the East as soon as tomorrow. YD now just in need of a single point one way or another, be it Chatham loses out on another point the rest of the way, or pardon, not tomorrow, as the All-Star game's tomorrow, as soon as Monday. But as soon as either Chatham loses out on a point or YD picks up a point, Red Sox are going to be playoff bound. As the throw down a second on the runner who goes down to the bag is not going to be in time. Jack Bulger has a stolen base as he's able to head down. And so there's a man on second now with 1 gone in the inning.
And also, Brewster lost tonight to Hyannis 3-2. So they're sitting at just 34 points. That's second in the East. The Mariners with a win tonight would have 32 points. So they would be a game out of second place, which when you really try and wrap your head around it is absolutely crazy.
2-2 is in there for a called strike. Garrett Guillemette does not believe it. He'll have to go back to the dugout, as that's the second strikeout on the night for Liam Sullivan. But absolutely crazy when you put it like that. The fact that Harwich, if they're able to pick up the win tonight, would be just a game out of second of home field advantage in the first round.
It's just, it doesn't even sound right. It sounds almost like something that should not happen. So you factor in how big that win was against the Whitecaps, and you got them coming in. You got them here at White House on Monday. That is the first game after the All-Star break. The Mariners would have a chance to take second place at home on Monday.
And that's a head-to-head matchup that actually favors Harwich this season, as the 1-0 is going to miss for a ball. It's now 2-0. Harwich already on the year, 2-1-1 against the Whitecaps. Although the one loss was a rather egregious loss.
A routing.
16-5 on the 3rd of July as Arndt whips it down to third base on the throw down to the bag. It's in time. They get Bulger. He's caught stealing, and the Harwich Mariners are able to retire him. 1-2-3. Liam Sullivan faces the minimum as we head now to the bottom of the 8th inning. We'll be back in a minute. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
Harwich Mariners, the second baseman from UConn, number 4.
We bring you
David
back
Smith
to the bottom of the 8th inning. Harwich Mariners up to bat. They hold a 5-run lead over the Orleans Firebirds right now, 9-4. Tommy Hopfe is no longer in the ball game. The new pitcher on the mound for the Orleans Firebirds is Ryan Barassa, Another arm that Harwich has seen plenty of times this season. Barasa, this is his third appearance against Harwich. He's already pitched 2 2/3 as that's fought off by Smith. But his line as a whole on the season, Barasa, when you look at what he's done, ERA of 4.91. This is his 4th appearance, so most of his appearances have come against Harwich. 3 2/3, so allowed 3 hits. He's struck out 6 to walking just 2. There is an arm warming up in the bullpen for the Harwich Mariners. It's going to be Jack Pulowski, who's up in the bullpen warming. The new arm out of UMass Amherst getting ready to come in the 9th. Liam Sullivan's pitched 2 complete. We imagine perhaps that his day will be done and they'll give the chance to the new guy to try to close it out before the All-Star break. It's a 2-2 count. Here's the pitch. That's flown up toward shallow center, and it's caught. Logan Beard strides over behind second base, makes the catch, and there's one gone here in the inning. That's the first at-bat for David Smith that did not end in an infield single. He was 3 for 3 with 3 infield singles, and that finally just snapped.
And you'll take it. If you're Smith, that's a great day out of the 9 spot. His team with a 5-run lead. You'll take that any day of the week.
Here's the first pitch to Nick Goodwin, who pops it up. That'll go back behind home plate. That'll drop down behind the press box. Or so I assume. We did not hear it hit the roof. It's an 0-1 count with 1 gone.
Goodwin has punched out twice and walked twice. Came around to score both those times.
0-1's going to be chopped out toward the Orleans bullpen. Running over to try it is Humphrey, but that thing was tailing out of bounds, and so it's an 0-2 count. Goodwin looking to avoid striking out for what would be the 3rd time tonight, if he is unable to avoid it. 0-2. That misses low and away, 1-2. He's struck out 3 times in a ball game previously. Came back on the doubleheader against Hyannis, though, the last time. He struck out 3 times in a ball game. It's a 1-2 count. Here's the pitch. Checks his swing, kicks in the dirt. He did not go, so the count now is 2-2. Nice comeback here from Goodwin. He's able to work the count even after going down 0-2. And Barasa's working. Barasa, a guy who's got a really nice splitter. See what he goes to, is that's going to be yanked foul. Off over the Harwich bullpen, still 2-2.
And for Harwich, this is the second, tied for the 2nd most runs they've scored in a ball game this season. They put up 9 on Falmouth on opening day back on June 12th. But number 1 is the July 9th game at Katuitt, where they put up 11 in the victory.
2-2. Misses high, 3-2. And of course, Harwich going to be hoping that this is their last half inning at the plate. Going to look to take care of business, lock up back-to-back wins in the top of the 9th inning against these Firebirds. Only played 8 innings last night, so that helps out your bullpen a little bit. 3-2. Caught on and missed. Down goes Goodwin. 3rd strikeout of the night for him. This brings up Kalai Harrison.
Harwich Mariners, the shortstop from NC State, number 35.
Yeah, Nick
Kalai
Goodwin, 3 punch-outs
Harrison.
tonight. Did have the 2 walks, which was great, but not using the bat at all, which is the funny part. Has not put 1 ball in play in the ball game. This guy, on the other hand, Kalai Harrison, is about to looking to get on base for the 5th time tonight. He's currently 2 for 2.
Yeah, it's been just quite the night for him at the dish as he falls behind in the count, 0-1. I mean, Harrison, a guy who on the season, on base percentage, has only been hovering right about 270. But here he is, 4 times, able to reach safely, 2 walks, 2 singles. 0-1 is going to be swung on and missed. It's 0-2. It's already the most walks he's had in a ball game. with 2. 2 runs scored in the game. That's the most he's had as a Mariner. And then 2 hits in the ball game as well. Ties his season high that he reached the last time he faced off against Orleans back on the 13th at Eldridge Park. 0-2 is going to be pushed foul. And so it remains 0-2.
Yeah, what a game he's had tonight. Definitely in the argument for player of the game for Harwich. Almost undoubtedly would be player of the game.
0-2 count to him here. Here's the pitch. Off speed, outside, 75 miles an hour. Misses for a ball. 1-2.
It's really been fighting through at-bats. I mean, thinking back to that 11-pitch at-bat, maybe the best of the season for Harwich, and then he ended it with a walk. It was
swing and a miss. Strike 3, that ends the 8th inning. Harwich trying to lock up a win when we come back in the top of the 9th. We'll be back on the other side. Don't go too far. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. It's the top of the 9th inning for the Harwich Mariners as they're going to look to take down the Orleans Firebirds, the bottom third of the order coming up here as Austin Knight, Logan Beard, and Connor Burns are all due up in the inning. Back on the mound looking to wrap this one up for the Mariners in his 3rd inning of work. It's Liam Sullivan, who's been excellent across his so far 2 innings pitched. He's faced just the minimum, but this one's going to be hit over toward Kalai Harrison. That's going to get over his head just down into center field, and Austin Knight is on with a leadoff single here at the top of the 9th.
The second baseman from Louisville.
Thought Kalai Harrison was going to put a cherry on top of his already fantastic game with a spectacular catch, but just out of his reach there, mistimed it a little bit, and it's a leadoff single for Knight. He's had a 3-hit game. Not a very bad showing for him here tonight.
Yeah, a guy who's generally been struggling on the season. His average right now, 172, although, of course, going to be lifted by the 3 hits he's gotten here tonight, as that's in for a strike. Previously, coming into tonight, Knight on the season was batting just 130. Now, 172, still not exactly a stellar mark, but the fact that he's been able to raise his average by 40 points in one night. Swing and a miss from Logan Beard as he's down to the count 0-2. Sullivan, he's struck out 2 so far here tonight. Looking for number 3 here. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Logan Beard goes down swinging, and Liam Sullivan has his 3rd strikeout of the evening. One gone with a man on first still for now Connor Burns. Burns on the night. He's 1 for 3. Singled back in the 5th. He's struck out in each of his other 2 at-bats otherwise. First pitch to him is going to miss low in the dirt. And so the count is 1-0 here. It's a platoon of Mariners up in the bullpen, all participating in some calisthenics. A couple of guys warming. Everybody just sort of meandering at this point.
Looks to be Purnell and Sharkey now.
Yeah, saw Pulowski warming earlier, but I think perhaps it's been in the cards this entire time to get as much out of Sullivan as you can. And whenever you get 6 up, 6 down from him, you know you're good for at least one more inning, even if it's a long one, if it's the last one. 2-0. Cutback foul. 88 miles an hour.
Might have got a piece of the umpire.
I think it did. Conversation now from Arndt as he'll have a discussion. Ended up getting him right off of the torso, so he indicates to Connor Burns. Burns, a man who finds himself in the line of fire, often in his own right, the catcher out of Louisville. So he understands. Or, pardon, no, Burns. Excuse me, as I was getting ahead of myself here. Burns out of Long Beach State. Excuse me. Logan Beard out of Louisville. Fellow B name. Beard having just struck out. 2-1 count. Man on first and Knight. Harwich looking for back-to-back wins to send him off into the All-Star break. Cutback foul, 2-2.
Be nice to wrap this one up for Liam Sullivan. Get a 9-out closing of the game. Not a save, as I mentioned, but would be nice to kind of cap it off. Head to that break, couple days of rest, you know, with a good outing under your belt.
2-2, swing and a miss. Liam Sullivan sends him back to the dugout. Looked like maybe it was tipped. Nonetheless, Sullivan an impressive job. 4 Ks now across his 2 2/3.
And Connor Burns has been the 4th strikeout victim of all 3 Mariner pitchers here tonight. He was the 4th strikeout for Sean Sullivan, Jacob Edwards, and now Liam Sullivan. How about that?
Baseball's funny sometimes in that numbers just sometimes line up as, how about that rousing introduction for Luke Keeschel? He's up to bat, in case you couldn't hear. Chris Cassidy, the public address announcer, give him a warm welcome to White House Field tonight. It's a 1-0 count to him as he's 0 for 4 on the night with 3 strikeouts. 0 for 4. Yes, the next one's in for a strike. It's a 1-1 count now.
Yeah, you don't want to don that golden sombrero and be the last out in the ball game. Keeschel trying to find his way on one way or another here.
1-1 count. That's going to miss inside. It's 2-1 now. Harwich, a win would put them within a game of Brewster for 2nd in the East. They are then set to face off against the Whitecaps on Monday after the break. Swing and a miss, strike 2. 79-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch that, quite frankly, Keeschel was just well ahead on. It's a 2-2 count, 2 gone. Harwich looking for back-to-back wins. Sullivan trying to wrap it up. Looking to leave a man stranded on first. Comes set. Here's the pitch. Tipped foul right at home. That'll drop back. Count stays at 2-2.
Last time they had back-to-back wins, it's actually a 3-game winning streak they had that ranged from July 9th to 12th. Again, it's the Cavaliers, Whitecaps, and these same Firebirds.
Two-two count. Sullivan trying to send everybody home. Here's the pitch. Popped up. Out of play. Well, I tell you, the few fans remaining on the berm, not much competition for those foul balls anymore. Still a modest swarm. Jumping on the ball as it landed over beyond the fence along the first base side. 2-2 count. Sullivan looking for strikeout number 5. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, down in the dirt. Arndt grabs it, throws down to first, and that's the ball game. Liam Sullivan cleans it up, pitches 3 complete to wrap up the game, strikes out 5 in the process, faces 1 more than the minimum, and the Harwich Mariners are 2 points within second place in the East Division. We'll take a break. We'll step aside. A 9-4 victory for Harwich. We'll be back on the other side of the break to break it down for you. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Welcome back inside the press box here at White House Field on the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. A 9-4 victory for Harwich over Orleans, a game in which was able to cement them into 3rd place in the East Division for the time being, keeps them ahead of the Firebirds and the ever pesky Chatham Anglers as they had their 5-game win streak snapped tonight. Nonetheless, Devin, an impressive game here for Harwich tonight in which the offense was consistent. It was through and through. You had it up and down the lineup. Scored in 5 of the 8 innings at the plate. Not a lot to complain about here tonight if you're Harwich.
Great team win. You caught a few breaks, but story of the game's Kalai Harrison. On base 4 times, had 2 singles, came around to score twice, picked up his first 2 RBIs. He was sensational for the Mariners here tonight. Played shortstop, was great over there. So a great team win. Shows how this next man up mentality has had everybody contributing. Harrison stepping up, and he did the job here tonight. But to your point, Tim, very important points coming up in the division standings.
Yes, as Harwich now with 32 points in the East. They are just 2 points shy now of Brewster, sitting at 34 points, who lost their matchup earlier today. And so Harwich has their fate in their hands in that they are going to be able to take over second in the division if they can pull things out on Monday. Of course, with how tight it is, even if they win that game and pull even with Brewster and then win the tiebreaker with the head-to-head record, it's just going to come down to the final day of the regular season. I mean, you still have 2 games against Chatham at the very end of the season that, if you're within striking distance for them, could very well swing in an unfavorable direction. And so still certainly want to be taking it game by game here if you're Harwich, but nonetheless an impressive team win, as you've put it, Devin, here tonight. So for the Mariners, their overall record improves to 13-17-6 as mentioned. 32 points now in the standings, whereas Orleans, they stand pat at 30 points, now at 13-19-4 on the year. Impressive win for the Mariners. They head into the All-Star break with 8 All-Stars tomorrow. Brock Wilkin, Tommy Seidel, Nick Goodwin, Joe Vitrano, Jonathan Santucci, Hunter Hodges, Drew Conover, and of course Zane Probst, all set to take the field tomorrow for the East Division. Be sure to catch Brock Wilkin in the Home Run Derby set to take place tomorrow afternoon. Should be exciting to see the Mariners represent the East as they will take on the West.
And if you can't make it to Spillane Field in Wareham, it'll be on Nesson at 9 o'clock, so you can catch it there.
Yes, by all means, tune in and catch the action, and we'll have plenty of coverage across the Harwich Mariners social media networks as well. So with that, we leave you. A 9-4 victory for the Harwich Mariners here tonight over the Orleans Firebirds, as Harwich picks up 2 wins heading into the All-Star break. For my broadcast partner, Devin Dobek, for the rest of our media team here at White House Field each and every night, I'm Tim Foley saying thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you on Monday.